back to the Gaming Block Podcast, your number one podcast for all of the pertinent video game news spanning across all platforms such as Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and more. I'm your host, Andrew Ron, and today I'm joined by one half of the bad boys of video games,
As usual.
Jacob Ward. As usual now. Yes, Jake, it's just us.
Mhm.
It's like we're in our own league. It's a Just Us league.
It's just us league. You got to it before I could.
I believe that joke was from Jay and Silent Bob Return.
They also,
Is
I
that what it
think,
was
made that
called?
joke in the Joss Whedon theatrical cut of the Justice League.
Did they really?
Yeah.
So that's a joke that I would expect from Ben Affleck in a Kevin James. No, not Kevin James.
Well, I think it was like the Flash and Cyborg when they were like digging up Superman. They made that joke or something. Like, I don't know. It was weird.
I don't know. I've blocked that movie out of my mind.
Mhm.
But the Jay and Silent
I
Bob
like
2 movie,
how your Pepsi can looks like it's supporting your TV stand.
is it? You can see it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this one. I have another one right
Yeah.
here. So I was like, how can you see that?
It looks like it's one of
Um,
I thought it was one of your supports for your TV stand at first. I was like, wait, no, there's color
It
there.
actually is. If you move that Pepsi can, the whole thing comes crashing down. Anyways, hello, my friend. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm doing good.
It kind of feels like a Sunday right now since we're doing the podcast, and neither of us worked. It's not though. It's Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
My
I'm
work
off Sunday
actually
too.
can't. My work called out. Not, or I guess everyone called out because of the hurricane that didn't actually hit us. Sorry, there's a gnat. I was telling you about it earlier, and it's just
Mhm.
like these little guys just like to come in and disrupt my whole feng shui. But yeah,
You know what
it
did
feels
shut
weird.
down? The Florida Publixes.
No, Publix will stay open as long as they can, just like Walmart and all the other
No, Walmart shut
multi-billion
down.
dollar. Walmart did.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's even
I know,
funnier.
right?
That's because the commitment to the customer
It's
is up
because they're
here at Publix.
unionized in Florida.
Yeah. Funny side story. Oh, I
Mhm.
guess I should say, if you don't know who we are, this is the Gaming Block Podcast. We talk about video games and video game news, usually weekly. That hasn't been happening lately, but that's honestly
It's been
nothing
about a
new.
month.
If you look at our history, our podcast count, we like to go in spurts of doing it weekly for like a few months, and then sometimes we'll be gone for 6 months. We might be gone 1 month. Never really know. It's a little surprise.
It's a
So
gamble.
yeah, but we are here, and we are going to talk about some gaming news. Which, let me be honest, even more, because I'm always honest here, but I'm going to be even more honest. This time of the year, post E3, God rest its soul, post Keeley, whatever event he's doing, and all that stuff. It is pretty slow for news. Even today, I was looking up news, like, what are we going to talk about? And
Mario died.
it's not. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could talk about the Mario directs, but there's not really much to talk about. Like Mario Wonder news, that's not really news.
No, I meant like
Thankfully,
Mario died. Martinet's gone.
that's true. We can mention
Mhm.
that. But even then, it's like that's the biggest news story, Old voice actor retires. um, yeah, there's just not much
The
going
last
on.
official thing he recorded for Nintendo was saying
The
"That's my
movie,
boys" in the Mario movie.
yeah, yeah, good for him,
Mhm.
right? Uh,
Those are his boys.
but yeah, we are here. We're back. I don't know. We're just dragging on. I don't know what
And
to
I
say.
love how like that that whole like retirement got kind of like sort of leaked before it got announced because people were able to catch that the Mario's Wowie Zowie from Mario Wonder sounded a bit off from a Charles Martinet Mario voice. People were like, "Is this not him? Is he retiring?" And I was like, "I don't know. Maybe it's just a new voice line. Maybe it's just they aren't reusing all 20-year-old voice lines for this."
Yeah,
But no, people caught on. They knew like right away. They were like,
kind
"Bam! It's not him."
kind of makes sense that he didn't do the movie now. If he's retiring from the games, he might just be retiring like fully.
I think the reason they didn't use them in the movies because they wanted to use famous voice actors or not
Well,
famous actors
okay,
to get tickets sold.
you're acting like every single person in that movie was some famous actor from some established franchise already. All right, it had a lot of no names like Charlie Day, Jack Black, Chris Pratt. He's so cool. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, no, this is a video
He's
game podcast, and we do talk about video games. I guess Mario is video games. Um, Jake,
yes.
I'm gonna steal the spotlight for a second because in the month that we've
Okay.
been gone, uh, I've done a lot of gaming, and I've actually played a lot of games, and it's kind of weird because I'm finally in like a rhythm in my life, working the whole Monday through Friday 9 to 5, and then having gaming
Mm-hmm.
time now. It's really weird. I feel like I don't have time to play games, but I'm playing more than I have probably in the last 6 months. Um, I beat Zelda finally. Tears of the Kingdom. It's done. It's over. And for some
That's good
reason, I
job.
decided I
You
decided
loved
to like
it.
100% it. I don't know if I'd say I loved it. I did put 110 hours into it though, so I didn't hate it. Obviously, I've put enough of time in there. But I got all the shrines. I did. I would like to think all the big side quests. There was like one that I had to take photos of all like 15 pillars or something. And I don't know what was going on. I'm still trying to. This gnat is still. I'm just afraid he's gonna get into my Pepsi, and then I'm gonna drink him. Well, yeah, fucking Starfield was still downloading a game that's not even out tomorrow, and it's like, yeah, 400 megabits per second, and we're doing great downloading over here. I don't know what's with my Wi-Fi here, but it's like
Do you not?
if I download one thing, it's like that one thing sucks all the internet up.
Do you not have a hardwired?
Mm-mm.
Is your computer hardwired?
Mm-mm.
Why?
Nope. Because the router doesn't work, and I'm
Oh,
not running a wire through my whole apartment.
you're weird.
I know, right? What a weirdo! You don't have wires running through your whole apartment.
Oh, so it's not a TV stand. It's part of your desk. Okay, I get it now.
This?
Yeah, yeah. I thought I couldn't tell what that was because your like quality was so low.
It's my desk.
Okay,
Oh,
I
that's
couldn't
hilarious.
even tell if that was your like. I thought that was maybe your switch or something that kept turning on. I couldn't tell that was like an Alexa.
Oh, it's a little Alexa. I was watching Mouse Hunt on it yesterday. Seminal film if you've never seen it. Should we just start over? No, it's probably fine, right?
I think it's good.
It's probably fine.
Yeah, stitch it together.
What the fuck were we talking about? All right, Jake.
Yeah,
I
you're
I
talking
beat.
about all the games you were playing. You talked about Zelda,
Yeah, yeah,
that you
yeah.
loved it, and you're doing all
Holy
the side
shit!
quests.
Starfield 2 is already out.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
that's why it took
Yeah.
so long.
So I beat Tears of the Kingdom, which is
Hmm.
pretty cool. And like I said before, which I guess you heard, but you didn't hear, you kind of heard. Completed all the shrines, did all the side quests. What made me really feel happy was that I got the Master Sword, which I think you have to do in this game. I think it was just an option in the first game, but this one it's like you
Yeah, I think
have to
for
get it.
narratively you have to get it. Yeah.
Yeah. I got the Highland Shield, and then I got the whole Ocarina of Time outfit.
Yeah, that's one thing I never got the Hylian Shield in my playthrough.
It's in the castle.
Yeah,
It's
I
it's
figured it
actually
was. I just got tired of looking for it because I didn't want to look up a guide for it, and I was
oh, I
like, "Well, it's not
googled
where it
it.
was before."
No, it's actually really easy. It's like you don't even have to fight anything. You just walk in and then open a chest, and it's right
Oh,
there.
okay. Well, I
Um,
guess I've fucking blind eyed that at the 30,000 times I went into that castle.
it's in the bottom near the docks, wherever the
Oh,
docks
okay.
are. So it's not like actually floating in the sky. Um,
Oh, okay. I never
yeah,
really went around there.
no, no, no. But uh, I beat it. I
Wasn't that
think,
gauntlet to getting to Ganondorf super fun?
dude, I just ran through it. You
Dude,
you
same.
told me it was like you told me that the ending was like a couple hours because you had to fight through all that stuff. I didn't
Uh-huh.
fight anything. I just boom, ran through it.
No, I when I saw the Lionel, I was like, "Fuck that!" I was like, "I'm not fighting this Lionel down here."
What's funny is that I fought that Lionel. Okay,
Hmm.
so actually, I have two funny stories about Lionels. First off, I fought that Lionel because I was going to beat the game like 40 hours before I actually beat it because I was just kind of getting tired of it.
Hmm.
And I fought the Lionel, but then I didn't know where to go, so I just left.
Oh,
Um,
really?
and then I decided it was one of those things where I'm like, I've already done 80 shrines. Fucking, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it.
Hmm.
Might
There
as
was
well
a
do
path
it.
to sneak around him. I put on the Sheikah outfit and like snuck around him and went like through the
Mhm.
side tunnel.
I did though. I thought that so for one of the shrine quests you have to break into the what are those guys called?
The Yiga.
So you had to sneak into the Yiga clan's outpost and you had to get all three pieces of the Yiga outfit.
Kind of sounds
And
like a slur, doesn't it?
It kind of don't say that. Don't say that. It kind of does though.
Yeah.
Um, and I looked up a guide, and one of them said like, "Oh, one of the pieces is in the Colosseum." So I went to the Colosseum,
Oh no.
and there's a
To get
Gliok there.
Majora's Mask.
Well, okay. So I was on the surface.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was there, and there's a Gliok. And
Yeah,
mind you, at this point, I'm strong.
because
I
that's what
started
the
I started killing Gleoks for
fierce
fun.
deity is, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I started killing Gleoks for fun. I was so overpowered. So I
Yeah.
get to this Gleok, and I kid you not, I didn't lose like a single piece of heart just because I had this system of like shooting him down, nailing him, and then but getting into the air to slow mo to shoot him down. It's like it was way too easy
I never
once
fought
you
a
figure
Gleaok.
it out. Um, but then it wasn't there, so it's like I guess it's underground. So I walk in there and I see this chest, and I'm like, this must be the Yiga mask. That makes sense because they hide underground. And then I went through a fucking gauntlet of like 8 Lionels.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that, like, it got more comical. It's like, here's another one.
And they were
Here's
like
another
armored
one.
ones.
Yeah. And then the last was like fully armored. I was like, all this for some fucking pants? And then I found out it was fucking Majora's Mask. I was like, that makes more sense. Really
Yeah.
cool. And then I found out later that I already had the piece. I already had the outfit piece. I grabbed it sometime earlier. So I was
That's
like, oh,
great.
that's great. Um,
Don't you love how Majora's Mask went from a DLC item that you just dug up from like a little ruin next to Hyrule Castle to a gauntlet of 8 Lionels that got progressively harder?
yeah, I mean, so I need to think about this game for a while. I mean, I have. I've been thinking about it
Mhm.
since it came out, honestly, playing it and digesting
You
and
know, the
things like
funny thing is,
that.
if you have the amiibo for Majora's Mask Link, you just get it from
Yeah,
that.
you can just
You
get
don't
it.
even have
Yeah.
to do the gauntlet.
Um, I do like that this game feels like the game Breath of the Wild should have been. I think Breath
Hmm.
of the Wild was necessary because we needed to first get that game where it is an open world, truly open world Zelda game.
Yeah.
But I think most people can agree that Breath of the Wild was lacking content. Like that was his biggest problem was that it was cool exploring things. So like that was the whole point of like, oh my gosh, here's a mountain or here's a huge canyon or now we're in the desert and things like that. What's around the corner? What's next?
Hmm.
Um, but then once you found all this stuff, it's like there's not really much to do in this world. This game, I feel like remedies that a lot. They have
Yeah, it's less fun to explore that world because I've already thoroughly
definitely,
explored it before, and not a lot
definitely,
of new stuff is there. I mean, there's new stuff, but like you go to the nooks and crannies, and some of the stuff that was there in Breath of the Wild just isn't, or they just didn't replace it with anything new.
yeah.
It's
And
just new stuff slapped onto old areas.
yeah, and all the areas, the big areas are the same, and it does
Hmm.
very much so have that sense of familiarity. Whereas, like, when I did go to the west where that huge canyon is, I didn't feel like I explored it a little bit, but I was like, it's the same thing. It's like the awe
Hmm.
and wonder of all this stuff is gone. I was in the fucking snow mountains up north for like 3 hours just because I was
Yeah,
like, I've seen this before, Um, but I do think that a lot of the side quests are fun and compelling, if not a little. I don't want to say, or I'm switching my words around. The world is detrimental to the side quests because I feel like all the sense of urgency and all the sense of like a good flow is broken up because the world is so big
hmm
and things are too spread out. They're too open. It kind of falls into that trap of the open world syndrome where
I
it's
see. I
like,
think that's where it worked out pretty good for me because I didn't do very many side quests. I just went like straight for the main story. I did like the fairy side quests and stuff like that,
yeah, which I
and
really liked. I like the fairy
and I got
side
all the
quests.
memories and stuff like that. And yeah, it just flowed a lot better when you did that.
Yeah, yeah. I hate that. It's my problem with Breath of the Wild 2 is that it is a build your own Zelda game, and because of
Literally in this one.
the way that they keep doing the story and the structure, they keep feeling. I feel like they feel like that they're tied to the having to do it in flashbacks
Hmm.
because of the pacing and because of the openness and the kind of like do whichever dungeon you want to first and things like that. Like it's ironic. I was playing Wind Waker and still am while I was playing Tears of the Kingdom. I was kind of going back and forth on them. And I'm like, Wind Waker is an open world game. I get that it's mostly ocean and it's
Yeah,
just a wide open
that's
ocean
what
and
they
then
wanted to do initially, and they just realized they're like, oh well, we don't have enough time to put more islands, so it got a little bit
Yeah,
spaced out.
yeah, but
Because I
like
remember they talked about it in a direct, like when they were talking about Breath of the Wild, like that was their first attempt at what they ended up doing with Breath of the Wild.
yeah, yeah. And it's like in Wind Waker, it's great because you can go to all these different places and stuff, but then some places are just locked out. It's like, hey,
Hmm.
you can't do this yet. And that's totally fine. It's okay to do that. But I feel like for whatever reason in this new Zelda, they're like, no, we have to let the player do anything they want at any time in any order. And we're going to sacrifice pacing and good story so that they can do whatever they want.
I'll say I do like that moment where you fight Phantom Ganon at the castle. I
It
thought
was
that was a
ruined
pretty
for
good
me,
moment.
though.
Hmm.
It was
It was.
ruined, though, because I fought Phantom Ganon before. I was just in
Well, it,
some,
it wasn't like not saying the fight itself, but I
I was
think
just like,
that like that cutscene where like it kind of
yeah,
like of course you know that the it's Evil Zelda is not actually Zelda,
yeah.
but like I thought it was a pretty like kind of Twilight Princessy trippy kind of cutscene that they did. I was like, "Whoa, this is like interesting. I like where this is going." Like she's all over the place. She's making it look like it used to, and trying to like charm him, I guess. And I was like, "This is interesting."
Yeah, it
And,
felt like a real game.
mhm.
But then that moment was like 30 seconds in 110 hours.
And I think it's one of the only cutscenes that plays in sequence. It's like there's a beginning cutscene, that, and then the end of the game.
Yeah. And of course, there's also like, well, I guess if we're talking just like cutscenes like that, I mean, there are the
Mhm.
cutscenes in the temples,
Yeah,
which, like, just like showing the bosses or whatever.
or
But
the champion
if we're talking like actual story
or
cutscenes,
sage, I guess now.
yeah,
So
they're
funny, they're
sages,
champions and sages now. They're both.
sage champions.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was just like, and then I mean, I like that they're doing the companions thing, but again, it just felt like they could have done it better. There were some design philosophies with the companions that I really disliked. I hated because I always wanted them out. I wanted to use
Yeah,
them because they're very helpful, but they just
well, they
fucking
all use the
take.
same button.
They use the same button and then they just take up the screen.
The
Like,
worst part is when you're trying to use like the thunder arrows, and then she runs off to go do hand to hand combat right up against the enemy, and I'm like, can you come? I need to press A on you.
yeah, I'm
And to do long
surprised.
range combat, it's not really that great for you to be over there next to
Yeah,
him.
it's so
So,
just baffling now that I've beaten the game. Like the reviews that I did read and hearing the people that beat it talk about it, it's like it's baffling that people just like didn't talk about the sloppy execution of the companions
mhm.
because it is very, especially if you have all five of them out at once, it is
Oh, it's
so
insane.
messy. But you also want to have all five of them out at once because they're very, very helpful.
They could have easily been assigned to a different button.
Definitely, yeah, or
Mhm.
something, or like maybe you like hold a certain trigger and then like push a button combination or
I hate
something,
that you have
or
to like talk to them with the A button to use their ability every time.
yeah, or
Except for the wind ability. That one was like passive. That was like the only one that you could just use while you're
mm-hmm.
gliding.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought, like, on the reticle wheel where they had the fucking map button, why not make that the champion button?
Right?
There you go.
Why do we have two buttons for the map?
You want to summon your champion, go to that, and then you want to take them away because I was sick and tired of going to the menu, unsummon, 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 resummon,
Did you know you
resummon,
can punch
resummon.
the ground and cause like a fissure when you have no weapon equipped?
So you can just do that whenever.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but
I didn't know that till recently.
if you do the Yiga Clan side quest,
Hmm.
you learn the move, that where they punch the ground and then the rocks shoot up. You
Yeah, yeah.
learn that.
Hmm.
And then I started using that. And it was funny because one of the challenges was like, I don't know, it's like one of those temples like you have no weapon, defeat these enemies, and they expect you to get the weapons. I just kept spamming that and beat them like that.
Yeah. No, I think the worst shrine was the one near the Koholint Island looking place,
Yeah.
where you had to like get all the guys that were on the like spinning around in the water, like going in a circle with all the arrows and stuff, and they didn't give you a bow and arrow at all. Until someone told me I could. I think it was you. Like you told me you could just grab the rafts with the
Yeah.
hand and just cause them all to flip over. And I was like, oh, this makes it so much easier.
Yeah. I mean, we could. I hope that hopefully we have the spoiler cast soon. I think it's going to be a
Hmm.
really long one because there are just like it sounds so dumb because it's like I broke the game, and it's like, oh,
Yeah,
you got to
that's the
play it the
point of the game.
yeah, and it's like, oh, you got to play it the way you want to, but it's the same reason why I didn't like Breath of the Wild was like every single puzzle, Jake,
Hmm.
after like the 80-hour mark, I just use the reverse time thing. If I
Oh
needed to
yeah.
like get a thing from here to over there, I would pick it up, move it as close as it can, pull it back down, get onto the top thing, use the
Hmm.
reverse time thing, and then grab it.
That's my biggest problem with like the gliders when you like make yourself a flying machine. Is like if you use the bird thing, you always have to have a very specific setup to use it. So I would always just pick it up, hold it in the air for a bit, set it
And then
back down,
jump
and then
on.
reversal. Yeah, and so
Yep.
I'd be able to actually use it to anyway. Unless I, you know, and then I found out you could get the thing with wheels on the bottom of it, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
made it a little
yeah.
bit better. But
And
until
it's like
then,
that's cool that I can do that, but also it's like it's the same reason why people like Minecraft. I don't like Minecraft.
yeah,
I like games where the game's made for me. I had more fun in the fucking first Temple of Wind Waker that what's the I guess maybe not the first one. The one that I was playing while I was playing Tears of the Kingdom was the
there's one with medley with the
I
fire
guess yeah,
dragon.
that was yeah, Medley. Yeah,
Hmm.
the Fire Dragon one. I don't even know what that temple's called. I don't know if it's called One Temple or everything. But I had more fun in that temple than any of the dungeons in this game.
Hmm.
I'm glad that they did dungeons. I am.
Yeah,
But
they're kind of half baked though.
they all boil down to hit these
Oh, for the
five
fire. Oh,
terminals.
except no, it's four. Except for
Four,
the
that's
fire
right.
temple
Four,
has
four, four.
five.
Yes, that's right. And then
It's the only one that
also
has five. That's made my when I got there. I was like, "Is this supposed to be the last one? Is this supposed to be the harder one?"
I
I, don't
don't
know, I just
know.
climbed on the outside of that whole thing, and it broke the entire like minecart puzzle they were trying to do.
Yeah. No, it felt like the whole game was broken, which I guess is what people want.
Hmm.
But like the dungeons were it's bold claim, probably the worst dungeons in any Zelda game.
I think it was even worse than the Divine Beasts.
I don't know. Those are pretty bad. I don't even consider those dungeons
What's
though.
it like actual puzzles? This was like go to a room, hit the thing, and then it opens a
That's
door.
true. Some, I mean, there was a little puzzle, but
Mm,
not really. Not really.
no,
Most of them were
especially the
just
water temple. The water temple was like trash.
the War Temple was nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing.
because they're just a bunch of floating islands. You can just do whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
The wind temple was cool. I think it was the best set piece.
I did
But
I did almost quit like 5 hours before I beat the game because I
mhm.
didn't realize there was another temple, the Spirit one.
Oh yeah.
And when I got down there, and she was like, I need my 4 body pieces.
Hmm.
I was like, no. The game, for some reason, feels like it just needs to stop letting you have fun constantly.
And
That's
then
what
you get in the
every
and then you get in the mech and you're like, all right, this is gonna be great, and it sucks. The
the
mech
mech
sucks. I hate
sucks.
it.
The mech
It's
sucks.
it's slow. It uses all your battery, and like it doesn't do like any damage to any of the enemies.
The only good thing about the mech
Hmm.
is that you can jump off it and go into slow mo.
Yeah,
I did that constantly. That was very helpful because I was just
I'll say
continuously one shotting
the
enemies.
boss fight with the mechs. I didn't even like take damage.
No, 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 no.
I just like constantly punched the other guy with the mech, and I won.
Yeah. Um,
Like, I don't even think it got to attack me at all. I don't even know what it was
going
going to do. I did,
going on
I did,
to
however, finish the Koga fight before I unlocked the mech. So I first saw the mech when he used it.
yeah, I did
I
too.
was like,
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
love Koga. That was the best part of this game was Koga.
Honestly, yeah, he was great. His
Hmm.
whole little side adventure in the depths and stuff, fantastic. The depths
You
also
always see him
were
like trying to like turn something on, like throwing his hand at it like you did. And it's like, why is it working?
it reminded me of old Zelda. It's like you got those like quirky, like just kind of dumb
Hmm.
characters, which there were
I
a
need to
lot
play
more of those.
the Hyrule Warriors game for or the what was I don't know which one it was, but the Calamity one because
Hmm.
apparently he's hilarious at it. Like he has fully voice cutscenes and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. Some things I did like though, because again, 110 hours. I didn't hate everything about this game. Um, I did like I said before, the side quests. I enjoyed all the characters in these side quests. It felt like a Zelda game with that, like all the different characters and stuff,
Hmm.
helping like the little like what they call those side quests, like save fucking Pharaon or whatever, like where you kept getting up to the little ragtag groups of like we got to defeat all these enemies and stuff like that,
Hmm.
or when I had to defeat the pirates for the and kind of rebuild the village and things like that. I was like, that stuff was cool. The whole mayor side quest, um, where you're like trying to win the election for them and stuff. It's like that stuff was cool, and I think it had a good blender of side stories like that, but then also your typical I need 10 frogs, which is
Yeah.
fine to do sometimes because then you just kind of get the feeling of like, oh, I'm still doing things. I'm getting something, another checkbox off the list. Um, but, you know, again, the problem is that those good moments are so few and far between in this massive game. So much of this game is just walking and
Hmm.
running around and climbing, which if you're into
And
that,
gliding.
awesome. Gliding, awesome. The
It's great
building,
with the Skylands because Skylands' main purpose was to teleport up there so I can glide somewhere.
yeah.
Hmm.
The Sky Islands, heavily underutilized.
Yeah.
Heavily. Every
I
single
was expecting for
island
like Skyward Sword 2.0, but it was like nothing.
is nothing.
Hmm.
It was the first area in the game was
You need it.
cool.
I feel like it would have. This game would have like greatly been improved by a flying mount instead of like
Yeah.
your own like weird flying contraptions that break after like 5 minutes.
Oh
Like
my
just have
gosh.
like something like a horse that you can fly around, like your loft wing.
I remember people saying the weapon durability was better in this game. I didn't get
No,
that
it's
at
it's
all.
worse. Like
Things
it
just kept
didn't bother
breaking.
me. The degradation system didn't bother me that much in Breath of the Wild, but it bothered me a ton in this.
Actually, when I went to the final boss with Ganondorf,
I used
you
all
know,
my weapons.
well, I didn't, but I had the Hyrule Shield and I had the Master Sword because I'm like, this is a fucking Zelda game. I want to feel
Yeah.
like Link. And during the fight, the shield broke. The Hylian
Oh
shield
no.
shattered, and I was like, no, I just fought without a shield the rest of the time because I didn't want some goofy ass fucking shield in my cutscenes and
I
whatever.
like the Royal Shield enough, like the Royal Guard Shield, like the black
Yeah,
one.
yeah, because it's
Hmm.
close enough, but it's
Yeah.
still just like, just let me be Link. Just let me
Hmm.
be Link. Stop making it so difficult for me to be Link in a Zelda game. That's all I
No, I had
want.
some goofy ass armor because like I didn't have like I didn't bother getting a lot of material, so I didn't have like very good armor. My best armor was like I think 12 defense each when I went to go fight
Oh,
Ganon.
that's not bad. That's not bad at
I had
all.
like the light pants, the Hylian tunic, and the light helmet,
You're
like the
just like
miner's helmet.
you're like
So I looked
whatever I
really
got.
stupid. And then at the last minute when I went to do the final cutscene, I like before I finished him off, I swapped to like the champion tunic and everything, like the main outfit.
You're like, let's not look ridiculous at the end,
Yeah,
which it didn't even matter because it took his clothes off. But
right.
um,
It's pretty hot.
and then I guess also ending boss. Just my little initial thoughts on it and stuff too is just
Don't
like,
you agree? Described it as epic, like quote unquote epic.
nah.
Not
I
like
mean,
as an excited it is epic as in scale.
I mean, yeah, the very end in scale, it
Hmm.
is epic.
Hmm.
Playing Final Fantasy 16 before this did not make it feel epic. This felt like a
No,
child's toy compared to Final Fantasy 16.
I listen. There was that oh shit moment when Ganondorf did the dodge on my sword. And I was like, oh.
That was cool.
Hmm. I wish he would
That
have jumped on my sword like Shadow Link, and then he would have just like been giant Ganondorf on my sword.
I actually told you guys, I
Mhm.
think in the chat, like right away, I was like, I hate that this game is based off how much did you do and not how much skill do you have.
Mhm.
Because that game, the ending boss fight was fucking cakewalk. I had zero problems
Yeah,
because I
for
was
me,
maxed
I
out.
had a terrible time. I was at two hearts for like the last half of that boss fight because
Yeah,
I didn't
no,
take it too seriously at first, and then I realized all my best weapons I had, half my inventory were gloom weapons, so I like couldn't use them.
I just used the
Um,
Master Sword the whole time. That was
no,
it.
I ended up having to do that as well, but like it was it got really monotonous because it went on for so long for me because I learned his pattern. I was like, okay, these are like the two times I can get a hit in, and then
Yeah.
I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, wait, two. But then I saw people right afterwards like build a box and like slam them all around the room with the
That was
auto build,
funny.
and I was like,
I
man, I
did.
wish that would have been great.
I did see that. That was funny.
Mhm.
But it's just like I
Using
don't know.
reversal, just boom, boom.
It just sucks so much that this game is like I don't know. I don't know. We'll have more thoughts on it later. We'll do a spoiler cast eventually. I don't hate the game. I like it better than Breath of the Wild, but it was never too hot on Breath of the Wild.
Mhm.
Is it? It's still not even close to my favorite Zelda game. Not even
I think
close.
for me, I enjoy Breath of the Wild more purely on just like the discovery aspect of it, just because like that was a fresh world, everything was new, and if like
Yeah.
I had gone into this one without having played Breath of the Wild first, I feel like I would have enjoyed it more.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, this game would have been amazing if you didn't play Breath of the Wild first.
Hmm.
And I get what they I get you it's a lot to ask for you to make a whole new world. And I get that they made the depths too, but the second I found out or figured out that the depths is just a reversal of the top world, it was so
It,
less appealing.
and it's really difficult to traverse too because you'll just end up like these unpassable walls and just having to try to figure out how to
constantly.
get around
Yep.
them is stupid. So I'm
Yeah,
throwing light seeds everywhere, and I'm like, when does this end?
I
Like, where do I
did
get around it?
I did unlock all the light routes, all
Yeah,
120.
I didn't
Um,
bother.
but like after I did that, I started exploring a little down there. I was just like, "It's not fun.
There's nothing.
There's nothing here. There's nothing here.
There's
It's
just some like
cool.
there's some like annoying enemies to fight. There's the Dodongo knockoffs.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what the froxes are. They're just
Hmm.
Dodongos.
Yeah.
Except they're scary because they can jump at you real fast.
I like the
Um,
aesthetic, but it's like also I want them to do more now, which
mhm,
I know just sounds so selfish and such like a dumb thing, but I mean that in the sense of like I'm glad that they got the most out of this world that they can. But when I get to the edge of the world and there's just a huge fucking crater and then low poly whatever expanding out and the
mm,
land of Hyrule is just cut off from the whole world, that's so like
it's the river.
that's so 2010, you know?
Yeah,
Not even Skyrim had that. They at least had mountains or something. It just looks and the whole biodiversity of it again, maybe I'm getting a little too in the weeds of this, but it does kind of matter and it looks kind of stupid when I'm up in the sky now and I look around and I see, oh, jungle, desert, snow. It's still like, oh, it's all right here.
surprised you can see all that with all the fog.
Honestly, in the sky, there wasn't
Hmm.
much fog. Like it is really pretty in the sky.
Hmm.
Like this game did have
It
some
sucks that
really good
like it
moments.
advertises like so much about the sky. The depths where all the meat and potatoes were, but they didn't really do much with the sky. Like every time I find a new skyline, I'd be like, all right, there's nothing
That's
here.
true,
Whatever.
but I enjoyed the sky way more than the depths.
It
Way
left a better
more.
impression on me, but there's like nothing to do up there.
Yeah.
I wish there was as much to. I wish they would have split up some of the items you found in the depths up in the sky as well, because it's like
Yeah. That would have been cooler.
it's a challenge itself to get up to the sky sometimes.
Oh
So,
yeah, getting those last few shrines, which I used a guide for,
hmm,
I was glad that I had so many things stockpiled and saved up, and I had my battery up to like 5 full batteries
hmm.
because I would just build these flying machines and then still barely make it to some of
So I
these
didn't realize
places.
you could like expand your battery for the longest time. So I was just using like charges to like recharge whenever it run out.
Oh yeah, no, I fucking threw my charges away.
Hmm.
Yeah, throw them in those little pachinko machines, and I was like, give
I
me all this.
love maxing out the giant ones and then the game lagging when it's trying to give you all the stuff because you
The
put so much
game
in there.
literally breaking under, it's buckling under all the stuff trying to
Like
come out.
it just stops for like a solid 10 seconds.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna have to. I'll think about it. We'll eventually do another gaming block light episode where we do a
Mhm.
Zelda spoiler cast, and we'll really get in depth about it. But I'm gonna leave
We
it
gotta
there.
get Ida and Roger in here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll
Mhm.
get them in here and do that. Anyways, so along on my huge list of games that I've been playing lately, so I said Wind Waker HD. That's still a joy to play. I love that
Mhm.
game. Got oh, quickly going back. I was going to mention this earlier. Tears of the Kingdom. The music is much better than Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild. Much better. The ending. The I watched the credits because I always watch the credits in games that I beat, and the main theme for this game, fucking stellar,
Hmm.
stellar. Kind of has like this sort of like techno warped like fusion, like it's like the depths theme, but then when it goes to like the airy sky theme too and stuff like that, love it. And then every time I went to like what are those called, the little towers that shoot you up and stuff like that, and I have
Yeah.
the little whistle and things like that, and good stuff, good stuff. Anyways, Wind Waker HD is fantastic. If you've never played Wind Waker, what are you doing? Go play it.
Hmm. Good game
I
too.
started playing Mario 3D World, and then I beat Mario 3D World, which I'd never
Did you
done
beat it
before.
with every character on every world getting the top of the flagpole to get all the stamps?
I did not. I thought about doing that.
Yeah.
I really thought about 100%ing this game, but the second I beat the last Fire Flower World, which is a boss rush,
Hmm.
um, I was like, I don't want to beat it. I was like, that's just too monotonous.
Yeah.
I don't want to go
The
through.
funny thing is, you can go through all those worlds with each character as you're doing it, but then you unlock Rosalina at the end and have to go through and beat it all again with her.
Yep, yep. I'm not. Yeah, so I was like, I collected enough. I got most of the green stars and a
Mhm.
lot of the stamps and stuff. So like, it's good and it was fun. Um, I don't know if I'm just like good at games or if like journalists are bad or something.
Yeah.
But when I was looking
It's like
up
the Dark Souls of
guides,
Mario.
yeah, when I was looking up guides of like how to unlock all the extra stuff, they're like
Hmm.
Mushroom World, get ready for a challenge. I was beating all these worlds in fucking one.
I
So
mean, I didn't look up a guide to get all this stuff. I just kind of found everything when first.
I
I bought a Wii U specifically to play Mario 3D World when it came out,
yeah
and I 100% I got it 100% as much as I could. The only thing I didn't do was beating all the worlds with all the characters. That's the only stamps I didn't get.
yeah, I didn't want to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
like I think the only world that I had problems with at the end was the last world where you do the boss rush, and that's only because I didn't. For some reason, I was so sucked into like just fighting on the bosses, I forgot about the timer.
Oh yeah.
It was like on the second to last boss, and it went like do do do. You know, the 100 seconds left. I was like, oh shit. So I died, but then the second time I got it, and I was like,
hmm
and that was cool. I liked it, and it was like challenging and fun. Um, yeah, good game. I'm gonna go to the what's it called? Little Bowser's Fury thing. I'm gonna play that
Yeah.
next.
See, I bought the 3D World for Switch, and the only thing I've done on it is play Bowser's Fury. I never played
Yeah,
the regular one after because I put so many hours into the one on Wii U.
I mean that makes sense. So
But I'm 100% of Bowser Fury, and that's a fun one. It makes me excited for like what they could do with like. Honestly, it felt like more of like design wise DLC for like Mario Odyssey,
yeah, yeah,
but just using the engine of 3D World, which isn't meant to be a fully 3D open world environment game, and you can tell at some points like it the world kind of breaks sometimes. Like I got to a really high point, and I had one of those like boxes on your head that like would be the propeller.
yeah.
And when I was standing there looking at the ocean, any shadows in the ocean were completely cut off by the box of my character. So like you could see just like plain blue ocean on like the empty space between like the top and the bottom
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
box, like that
That's
perfect rectangle.
that's great.
So there's a few moments where it's just like you can see out in the distance, and you can tell that engine wasn't made for long distance rendering.
Yeah, yeah. It makes sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
Switch.
Wii U.
True, true.
And they're not using new code. I don't think they're using any of the stuff from Mario Odyssey. It's just, I think there's a new move. Like the way you move in the game is a little different than on the Wii U version. Like you're a little faster, and I think there's a new move they brought over from Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Um, and like you can jump further. So there's like it's actually easier than the Wii U version because you move faster and you can jump a little bit further. I think because of Bowser's Fury,
Hmm.
but that also translated over to the main game.
Gotcha. I played as
Mhm.
Peach the whole time, so
Yeah.
fuck
So there's
her.
some jumps. Like there's a hidden area in the game where there's like three 1-up mushrooms on top of like a big wall,
Yeah,
and it's like really challenging, almost impossible to get on the Wii U one. But on the Switch one, it's so easy. Like
yeah.
you just it's like especially with the cat suit, like you just get up there and do it without even
Crush.
trying.
Yeah. That was that was the game where, unlike Tears of the Kingdom, breaking 3D World was really cool.
hmm
Um, especially in those later, like the Fireflower level,
Yeah.
where it was just like you have 50 seconds to get across this huge world, and I'm just fucking I'm jumping on top of pipes and doing like long jumps and stuff,
Oh yeah.
like I'm breaking the level, but it's fun because
And
it's like
it's really interesting too to like see the comparisons of how the game used to play on the Wii U versus Switch. Like
yeah.
seeing what you can do now because of like minor adjustments to like your movement in the game.
So you're saying don't go back to the Wii U one because I'll be like I can't play this.
Well, I would say it's unplayable. I had fun with it, but
Yeah,
it's harder because you can't jump as far,
yeah,
you don't move as fast, and because if they changed that, you can also climb a lot further with the cat suit. Like the cat suit's like way more powerful, like than it used to be.
yeah,
Well, at least
yeah.
whatever in regards to climbing.
Cool, cool. Um, but yeah, beat that. Get onto the DLC later. I also beat my first Shantae game,
Mhm.
Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, and that's a game series you introduced me to.
It is.
And yeah, really fun game. I also
Mhm.
got the little 100% completion. I got all the little heart pieces and all the little shadow dudes and stuff like that. And
But you didn't get all the achievements.
I did not because Shantae Games achievements list are terrible. This gnat is still. Did I get him? Nope, nope. Let's
Nat,
fight another day.
Black Widow.
Um, yeah, Shantae's achievements lists are terrible because they have speedrun achievements and you got played through multiple times. Not into that, but the game was fun
Mhm.
and I enjoyed it. And I immediately moved on to Shantae Risky's Revenge, which is actually the prequel to it, I believe.
Yeah, so
Um,
it goes like Shantae, then the unreleased Shantae Advance they're coming out with, Risky's Revenge, Pirate's Curse, Half Genie Hero, and then the Seven Sirens.
yep, yep. and I have all of them on various platforms. So it's just a game where I'm kind of like going to every once in a while because it's just a fun little platformer. There's not much depth in the Shantae games, but that's okay.
Yeah, they're just
Um,
fun platformers. They're kind of Metroidvania esque
a little bit
almost.
just for like secrets and stuff like that.
I would say
Um,
it's like Cave Story is one of the closest games I can compare its gameplay to.
yeah, yeah. But I do recommend Pirates Curse, and I think it's a good one to start with too, because I had
Mhm.
played all the other ones before, and then that was the one that hooked me. And I don't know if it's because it was a little
That
simpler.
was like championed as like one of the best ones when it came out. I don't know if it still is, but I know a lot of people like really loved that one when it came
Yeah,
out.
no, I do like it a lot. Random game that I've been really getting into lately, Battlefield 2042 makes
Dun, 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 dun,
makes
dun,
no
dun.
sense, but I just on a whim started playing it. I have
Mhm.
half the achievements or half the trophies now. I'm kind of thinking about platinuming it.
I heard they fixed a lot of issues with it, but like their player base is like completely gone at this
No, that's
point.
the thing. It's like it plays. I played this game on release,
Mhm.
and it
It was
was
fun on
rough.
release.
It was fun for all the wrong reasons on release,
Mhm.
and there are still some bugs now. Um, not too many. Like most of the time when I'm playing, I don't have any problems. But just the occasional like clipping or something like that, or maybe like there's an internet spike, but that's probably on my end, honestly. So, but playing this game, I really like playing the Portal, which is all the maps from Battlefield 3 and Bad Company 2 and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Really, really fun. And then playing just Battlefield 2042, its maps, it's cool going back and forth because it does feel like a different game because like the class system is different and even the
Well,
maps
that's the
really
big
feel
thing that
different.
like compromised that game. It was going to be a hero shooter, and then they decided to make it a. Well, no, I think it started as a battle royale, and then they got Apex Legends, and they're like, okay, well, we have that, so now we're going to make it a class based hero shooter, kind of like Overwatch. And then it was like within the last year of development, they switched it to like a traditional Battlefield style game,
And what's
and they had
funny
to like
is
cut the campaign and everything to make it work.
you can tell at least from their trophies that it
Hmm.
definitely was because it has a lot of trophy specific, and that's what I've been going for now. It's like as the sentry get 2,000 damage with his sentry in one round, or as the healer heal 3,000 damage in one round. Like very like things you would expect in Overwatch of class specific, kind of a little obnoxious, or like use the glide suit for and it'll say the hero's name or the character's name or
Hmm.
whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's weird for a shooter, but makes sense if it was a hero shooter.
Yeah,
But I'm
it was
enjoying
it
it.
was kind of like the same problem like the Halo went through because its multiplayer started as like a hero based shooter, and then multiple, probably like 30 different things over its lifespan, and then went back to kind of a traditional, kind of in between Halo 5 and traditional Halo arena multiplayer.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know what else I was gonna say. It's good though. It's fun. Oh, you're saying dwindling player base? There were a couple nights where I'd play and then I'd get on the next day and I'd see the same names. And I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, hmm. And then I noticed also, getting into some matches, I'm like, oh, that's an AI. Like that says AI over it. The funny
Yeah.
thing though is that there's no leaderboard ever, unless you
Hmm.
like, you can see your stats by going into like your personal menu on the main menu. But during a game, there's no leaderboard, and I actually really like that. I know that's a problem some people had. They're like, I can't even see the fucking leaderboard and things like that. I enjoy that because I get way too hung up on that stupid shit while I'm playing. But I've noticed I'm just having fun, not
Yeah.
worrying about like my kill death ratio or anything like that. Which Battlefield I don't even feel
So
like is
like that's
about
why
that.
it's like, that's why the when it was all buggy and a mess, that's why it was even more fun because it's not like a competitive game. It's just
No, not
like
at all.
it was just kind of fun to like dick around and see how much you could break the game and how many buildings you could
Yeah,
fly through with the jet.
yeah, definitely, and it definitely
Um,
still has those like, you
you could
know,
fly across the map in the hovercraft.
they were marketing with those quote unquote battlefield moments. It definitely
Hmm.
has those like there are moments where I'm running and all of a sudden a tank bursts through the wall on my side and like we have a flood of men attacking a position. I'm like, oh my
Oh
god,
my god.
this is the most epic thing on earth, and it's like it's only in this game.
some of the old clips from when it first came out were great. When like the like siege of hovercrafts coming towards people,
Yeah, yeah. No one uses
it's so
hovercrafts
funny.
anymore.
I know they fixed them. They can't fly around the map like that. It was
Yeah.
better than a helicopter because you could fly up top buildings, like you could climb up the side of buildings with
I,
them and stuff. It was like
I remember.
insane.
No, no, I remember. But it's fun if you have
Mhm.
it. I mean, they've given it out on PS Plus and things like that, and I think everything honestly at this point. Get
Yeah,
away, Nat. I'm gonna find you. Um, but I really recommend it. It's fun. And then I guess to wrap up what I've been playing with Bo 50 minutes later, um, Armored Core 6. Start playing that. It's good.
nice.
It feels like
Like Dark Souls.
no. Oh my gosh, I saw that gaming journalists were like they lied. The first boss is super hard. Now I'll admit, I died to the first boss 4 times, but I felt like this gnat is going to drive me nuts. I'm going to
Kill
need a
it.
flamethrower or something. I'm trying. I don't want to clap for the microphone though.
Do it.
Okay.
Did
No.
you get
I
it?
just
Was it
clapped.
worth it?
Yes. The
Okay.
first boss is not hard. The first boss I feel like is a I missed and I just punched my computer for no reason.
Well, it wasn't for no reason.
How is this guy
Just for no reward.
this is like the most dexterous gnat I've ever seen in my life. Anyways, it's like a tutorial. It's fine. You learn how to stagger. It's super easy. It's a fun game, but it feels like a PS2 game. Anyways, what have you been playing? I'm tired of talking.
Not a whole lot actually. I've been mostly just working,
It's
and
fair.
yeah, that's about it. Working a lot, and I beat Halo 5 on Legendary by myself. So,
So it's done. Halo's done.
well, I still need to do all the other achievements for like multiplayer and Warzone and stuff. And then
Uh,
there's also one achievement specifically for the campaign that you have to beat it on heroic on co-op. So I need to get someone to co-op with me for the last few missions.
Roger will.
Um, Eventually, someday, he finally reinstalled it for me. So I was like, thank you. Um, and I think there's like 2 campaign achievements that just you have to have another person. It's impossible. It's
Yeah.
like destroy 2 cores at the same time. It's like it's impossible. Like they're too far apart for you to do it by yourself. The AI is too stupid to help you do it. Um, but it's not a single player game. Like that is a co-op game, like through and through, and it is like crime that they put achievements in there for you to do stuff by yourself.
No, that's what I remember. That was a game where it was very advertised as like a 4 player co-op
Hmm.
game, and
But
then
they
they
do
kind
that with all of their like crap. Like ever since they took over, it's like if there's a co-op game mode, there's an achievement to beat it on the hardest difficulty by yourself, which I get. Like that's a decent challenge, but it's stupid because the game is balanced around you having 3 other people with you.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like you're just fighting like a ton of people that shoot really fast, and there's like you take such little damage to die compared to like older Halos because there's like a revive mechanic in it too. It's stupid,
yeah.
and your AI is awful because they'll like if you go down, they will all 3 of them will go in a beeline straight towards you, die one after another to try and revive you, or they just can't navigate the map to you in time. Like
Hey,
it's
that's better than the AI in Battlefield 2042 because they do have online single player, which is the dumbest thing ever. So it's just the multiplayer modes with AI, but you have to be online, and it even has online lag too, which is
that's
ridiculous.
great.
It's stupid. But I was dying in that game, and like I'm talking like 15 of my guys around me. I was hitting the revive like request for revive. They're just ignoring me. They're like, no, I don't want to. I'm like, great, that's cool. Um,
I love it.
anyways, yeah. So Halo 5, that's cool. You know,
They also Halo Infinite update took away the bot battlefield, so you can't fight just in an AI lobby like you were talking about for Battlefield.
oh, exciting. 2 dying franchises for the wrong reasons, or for
Hmm.
different reasons, I guess, not wrong reasons.
For reasons they shouldn't be dying.
Nope, nope. So, all right. Well, you've
How
taken
many
up
times are
enough.
we gonna have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Oh, they'll come out with another one though. It'll continue. It'll always continue. They'll probably do if I'm a betting man, which I am.
There's a lot of rumors about a reboot.
I'm betting. Well, Battlefield specifically. I bet it's gonna be another bad company.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
That'd be
that's the
cool.
one that has the most nostalgia right now, and people are like, "No, that was a good one. It's great."
They'll
Uh,
ruin it.
probably, but I mean, that's what Call of Duty did when it was struggling. It went super
Mm-hmm.
future, and then it went back to
Let's
World
do
War II.
Modern Warfare again. Let's
Well,
do
they
Modern
did.
Warfare 3 and sell it for $70, even though it's the
They
UI and multiplayer is exactly the same as the
they
last one.
did World War II first. Remember that
Oh
was their
yeah.
like, oh, we fucked up on Infinite, or not even. I liked Infinite,
Mm-hmm.
but they're
It's
like,
good. Well, they made it like Halo.
people don't like this. Let's go back to our roots, World War II, which that game wasn't bad. It was okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that in mind, it's once again time for everyone's favorite segment, Met on My Mind. We're not doing the gaming riddle this week because I typed the
Metal
script
Gear.
up. Oh yeah, last time.
Yeah.
It's still up. It's about to go. Jake, you're correct. 5 million points. All right, you're
Woo!
ahead. 5 million to Rogers 18 and a half.
Nice.
All right. No, but we're gonna go straight to Meta on My Mind. We got 5 new Metacritic games. One of these is pretty big. Triumph 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy. That's not the big one. It has a 78 on PS5 and an 80 on PC. Starfield reviews are actually dropping today, so this number
Mhm.
might fluctuate, but it's been like this since the morning with reviews still pouring in. Xbox 87 and PC 88, not too shabby. Definitely better than what was that one game? Redfall? Not
Yeah.
Red. Definitely better than that. Um, yeah, interesting. Interesting that it's high 80s. I'm wondering. You were telling me actually things that you've heard, right?
I've been seeing a lot of reviews in like the mid to low 70s.
Yeah, and what have they been saying in those reviews?
A lot of stuff about like just a lot of loading screens, like to the game's detriment. There's not like free flow space travel like in No Man's Sky. It's just you just kind of like the entire time you're flying in space, you're actually just stuck in one spot. You're not moving any further or closer to any planets. Um, and I've heard there's been a lot of frame rate issues on console as well.
Yeah, yeah. Things I kind of expect from a Bethesda game,
Hmm.
honestly.
Like
Uh
I saw footage of like a scene where it was like 0 to 7 frames per second on Xbox.
Yikes. Yeah, they're pretty bad. It's still baffling to me. And don't get me wrong, I think what this game is going to bring to the table that other games haven't is that it's going to be that expansive open world, but it's also going to have that Bethesda storytelling. Because in every single Bethesda game, aside from 76, which I think they even eventually added it
Yeah, they
into
put
the game,
NPCs in there. They have the NPC
um,
DLC.
they're really good at storytelling. They're really good at having fun adventures, whether it's just like the main story or just this random dude in a corner doing whatever, having the great sandwich pirate raid. This is goofy, stupid stuff, but it's fun. It's fun
Hmm.
to do in a game. Um, I'm not sure I'm sold on Starfield, but thankfully I don't have to be because I have Game Pass. And I think this is one of those games where I am so interested. I already know that Xboxes have been kind of spiking a little bit in sales leading up to Starfield, but
Yeah,
I'm interested to see sales data in 3 months of both
I
Game
got that
Pass.
Starfield wrap.
They do. Not a limited edition console, but they got a wrap for you.
Hmm.
Um, I want to see Game Pass numbers and I want to see console numbers and like how significant did this boost? Because I think this game is going to sell not good at all. And I think it's because most people are going to play it through Game Pass. But if they don't see a significant spike in Game Pass, like if it only goes up 300, 500,000 subscribers because of this game, I don't think that's
Hmm.
good at all. I would kind of
No.
consider that a failure because this game's probably realistically going to sell. If I had to just start in the wall, 3 million copies starting off at least. And that's because everyone's going to play it through Game Pass. Even on PC, they have Game Pass PC, which I think you already have a Game Pass Ultimate or something. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I have that. So, like, great if they sell a whole bunch more of Game Pass subscriptions because that's what they want. They want to sell more consoles and more subscriptions. But if they already have their installed user base and this doesn't really move the needle, are you really going to get bigger than a new Bethesda IP? Like what's
Yeah.
the game that's bigger than that? Not much. So we'll see. Oh wait, hold on.
Get
Damn, I missed again.
it?
I'm just hitting my screen for fun.
Keep it up.
All right, I'll keep trying. Anyway, Starfield is reviewing good. Um, doesn't have those Nintendo or PlayStation numbers yet, but it's good. Now, random question, just to like stoke the fires of the fanboy wars. Spider-Man 2, higher or lower than 88? Let me give you a
Hmm.
reference. Let me
We're
give you
just
a
gonna get
reference.
there.
I'm gonna Spider-Man PS4 Metacritic. So the original Spider-Man on PS4 has an 87.
What about the remaster?
On PS5,
Mm-hmm. Did it change at all?
I mean, probably got lower if anything. It's usually what happens. It has no score.
Okay.
People did
What
score
about
is
what about Miles?
Miles Morales 85.
Five.
So both.
I feel like Spider-Man 2 has been super hyped up though compared to those other ones.
Hmm,
It's gonna get higher.
you think so? Think
Mm-hmm.
it'll break 90?
I think it'll break 90.
Okay.
Even if it's a low 90, I think it'll break it.
So once again, we're looking at Xbox in the overall year still being in last place with
Mm-hmm.
Starfield, because obviously Nintendo has Zelda, and I bet you Mario Wonder is going to do pretty good.
Oh yeah, and then we got
Uh,
Mario RPG as well.
PlayStation, they have Spider-Man 2, and then what was the other game that released this year?
Mm.
There's
God of
something.
War.
No, that was last year.
No.
What was the big Sony game this year? It was Space
That
Station
it
Faces
was that Splatoon ripoff.
3. No, that's not out yet.
Okay.
What was it? There was something. Surely, right? Because they
Become
usually have
sure.
two a year. They have one in the beginning and then one. Was it just
I don't know.
PSVR? Was that it?
I thought that came out last year.
PlayStation Studios games. MLB. There it is.
um,
We figured it out. No, I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe they haven't released anything then, because Horizon came out last year. God of War came out last year. Last of Us Part 1 last year. Gran Turismo 7 was last year, right?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. No, everything was last year. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the only big release of this year. Weird. Weird.
That's
Unless
at
we're
the end of the
forgetting
year too.
something. Yeah. All right. Well, I
I don't
guess
know. I haven't touched my PlayStation 5 in like a year, so that makes sense.
it must have been PSVR 2. That must have been their big game, which that definitely is last.
Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt, that is last.
Oh yeah.
Um our last game, which is debuting both on PlayStation Plus and Game Pass, and I saw first day had over 300,000 sales, which is great for an indie title like this. Sea of Stars has a 90 on PS5 and a 90 on Xbox. This is by the guys that did The Messenger, and this is actually a JRPG prequel to The Messenger. Still didn't get him. He's too fast. Uh, looks really good though. I have it downloaded. I'm excited to play it. So, yeah, there you go. Metacritic. Trying 5.
Meta on my mind.
Worst reviewed game of the century.
Great.
Jake,
Yes.
you remember 2015?
Bloodborne.
We graduated that year.
We did.
You know, not a terrible year for video games.
5 years later, we had COVID and missed our 5-year reunion.
It's true. Um,
Remember when
anything good?
we all said no to the mini reunion the year before,
We did.
which would
Should
have
have
been
done
our
it.
only reunion.
Should have done it.
I
What were
know.
the best games that
Bloodborne.
released in 2015? So Bloodborne's absolutely on this. Metal Gear
Mm-hmm.
Solid 5, is that on the list?
That
Is
came
that
out
one
pretty
of the
recently.
greatest games of all time? I believe it came out in 2015.
Are you sure it wasn't just the prequel one?
No, MGS5 came out in 2015. The prequel came out in like 2013, I think. That debuted with the new consoles, or
Okay.
came out pretty close to it.
I can remember. We're not
Is
putting
it
Halo on there.
is The Witcher 3 good enough?
Mm. People like it.
I'd say yes. I would say yes. Rocket League. I hate that game. But is it
Undertale.
is it one of the best games? Undertale.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put Undertale, because you know
Yeah,
what?
Undertale's pretty good.
Undertale brought something new to the gaming sphere,
Mm-hmm.
especially for that genre. The way that it had the different styles of playing and the unique way of storytelling, definitely like
Oh yeah,
built
that
off of.
was
Yeah,
very like kind of brought back an Earthboundy kind of style to gameplay too, which is
kind
cool.
of, yeah. Um,
Splatoon,
no,
Mario Maker.
maybe.
I think that one was pretty good. I honestly think it's better than Mario Maker 2 just because you have the gamepad to build.
Yeah.
We have Mario Maker 2 on here.
I don't think so. I don't think we do. There's better Mario games though. Mario Maker's
Yeah,
great, but
but
Mario
we're
3 is
talking about best
better.
games of 2015.
We
It's a pretty good game.
are, but we're also talking about the top 100 games of all
It
time.
had daily updates,
Dude.
and it had the amiibo costumes, which was fun.
But if we're doing a Mario Maker, we have to put two because two just is more. It's better.
It is.
You can build worlds in Mario Maker too. You can't do
Mm-hmm.
that in Mario Maker.
You can try.
You can attempt. You can make a
We also
playlist.
had the Mad Max game.
We
I haven't played
did.
that.
I that Mad Max game. I think about it all the time because I haven't played it, but I have it,
Same.
and I've heard it's good.
Ori and the Blind Forest should be on here.
Probably yes.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever played that game?
I haven't, but I've heard really good
It's pretty
things about
good.
it.
It's pretty good. It's very
That and Hollow Knight are games I've been on my bucket list for a long time.
it's very atmospheric, you know.
Mm-hmm. Batman Arkham Knight.
How about
I haven't
no?
played. I haven't played anything but Arkham Asylum.
I played Asylum Man City and what was the other one by Montreal?
Origins.
Origins, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I played a little bit of Origins, not much.
Then we have Rise of the Tomb Raider, which came out in 2015.
I like it.
I never played those games. I know you did.
I like the Tomb Raider games a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but just pound for pound, Uncharted's better.
Oh yeah,
It's just Uncharted, but well, and you know what? Actually,
it's Dude Raider.
it's not even because Uncharted's different. Uncharted is level based. Tomb Raider is level based, but it's a world
Well,
that you can
the
come back.
reboot of Tomb Raider tried to be Uncharted, is what it
Kind
was.
of. Well,
Mhm.
kind of. It was only in
It couldn't be
cinematic.
one for one, but it tried. It tried to like
Honest,
capture that market.
honestly, the only thing that was the same was it trying to be cinematic storytelling because like the
Mm-hmm.
level design was not the same, the world design was not the same, like everything else was different.
Mm-hmm.
The only similarities is that it's an adventurer and they climb. That's about it.
What about Life is Strange?
Life is strange. No, I hate that game. I'm sorry. I get that people like it. I
Mm-hmm.
fucking hate that game. Me and Susan tried to play through that game, and it was one of those like 5-part releases. We got to the third part, we were out. It's some of the worst writing I have ever seen in my life. And it's hilarious too because I remember when it's coming out, people were like, "It's so good." It's just like the writing's not bad. They're written like teenagers. That's how teenagers talk. No, it's not. You obviously are not around teenagers. As someone who was a teenager in 2015, that is not how they fucking talk ever.
Oh, Mario Kart 8 DLC Pack 2 came out in 2015. Should put
Say
that on
less.
there.
Say less. And
I'm kind of split on Metal Gear Solid 5 though because I haven't played it. I don't think you played it,
I have
and it's not. Oh, you have, and it's not done.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh,
So I'm gonna throw this out here. I'm just gonna toss this ball because yes, I know the whole like story's not a complete controversy thing. I've actually played a lot of this on both the PS4 and on the Steam Deck because this is a fantastic Steam Deck game.
mm-hmm.
If you have this game on Steam, the kind of openness and the creativity that MGS5 brings. I've tried to beat every single Metal Gear. I haven't beat any of them, not even 5. But I love 5 the best. Because 5 is fun. It's really fun. And if I was just going based off of, because honestly, I don't know what the fuck is happening in the story of 5, but I don't care what's happening. Because building my base and doing the missions, but then doing the missions over and over with new different skills and weapons and like kind of like what was it called, like attempts or whatever, like I'm coming at it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I like it a lot. Is it one of the best games ever made? I don't know. I get the argument for the other Metal Gear games, and like their story is what is so great about them, and that's what 5 is lacking. But 5, I feel like really makes up of it in the gameplay.
Also, I wasn't here for the 2017 one, but we should take Undertale and Shovel Knight off of there because they didn't come out in 2017.
Okay, that must have just been a re-release or something.
Yeah, those were like the Switch re-releases.
Okay,
and Treasure Trove.
Well, there you go. They're off the list.
Mhm.
But they're back on the
I'm
list.
pretty sure Hollow Knight didn't come out in 2017 either.
I don't know. It's on there though.
Okay, because Shovel Knight came out in 2014. I know that because I'm looking at this list. It also shows Shovel Knight for 2015, but that was the PlayStation release for it.
It's annoying. All these
Majora's
remakes.
Mask 3D should be on here.
So that was all these other games I don't fucking care about. But that
Mm-hmm.
was the other one where I was like, this is a discussion. This is a debate. And unfortunately, the two other Zelda people, I guess we're all Zelda people, they're not here. Um, Majora's Mask is a top 10 game of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe top 5. It might even be the best. I think there's an argument to be made that it is the best game ever made. The 3DS version,
Nitpicks.
it's all nitpicking. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I think the things that it improved outweigh the things that it you might not have liked, because I don't even think it
Mm-hmm.
really even breaks anything. I think
No,
it just makes changes to
I
where
think
people
people
might
got
not like
upset with
it.
the swimming for the Zora, and that's the biggest complaint I've heard.
Yeah,
Which I
which
get. I get it. It's a little different,
it's not
but
even the biggest part of the game though.
no.
Like it's a little thing. We'll put it on the
But I
list.
think the 3D version is the like
Definitive way.
definitive
Yeah,
version of to play
yeah.
it.
No, I
I think
agree.
there is a middle ground where there's a little bit that the other one does better than the other, but majority wise, that the 3DS version is the best way to play it.
Honestly, controller wise alone, it's
Mhm.
better.
The Bomber's Notebook alone makes it better.
Yeah, yeah,
You can actually play it without a guide.
yeah. You want to talk about a good fucking Zelda game, Majora's Mask?
Hmm.
Like, no question, no doubt. So, all right. So 2015, we have Bloodborne, The Witcher 3, Undertale, Ori and the Blind Forest, and Majora's Mask 3D. Leave it there. No Rocket League, no Metal Gear 5. Good
Yeah,
games.
I,
I don't know if I'd consider them the best.
Splatoon, Animal Crossing, Happy Home Designer.
That game made me mad. I got that game, and that is not the game I thought it was.
Oh, Fire Emblem Fates came out in 2015.
Hmm.
It was released in Japan in 2015, and then in the States 2016. So I don't
We
know how
didn't.
we want to do
Well,
that.
we didn't put it on the list in 2016. I
Mhm.
wouldn't put it on the list.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem's really good. I think the only one that probably deserves to be on the list is Awakening. Personally,
Mhm. There's
although
also the Star Wars Battlefront reboot from 2015,
there is, I saw that. You know,
which I had a lot of fun with it.
those Battlefront games piss me off because
Yeah.
I had fun with them too. They are such a joy to play because they look so good and
Hmm.
they play so well and they sound amazing. But it's lacking in almost every other aspect.
Yeah.
Every other part of the game is like, I want to go to Dice and just be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, do you guys just not know how to make video games? You technically they're almost the best at making video games. I don't think there's an argument there. At least they used to be. Like if you pitted up Battlefield 3 to what were they on? Like Modern Warfare 3? Battlefield 3 looks and sounds way better than Call of Duty
Oh
at this
yeah, because
but
they're like up against Black Ops.
but Call of Duty was a better game.
Hmm.
Hands down.
Battlefield 3 was just the poor man's Black Ops.
Exactly. And it's same with Battlefront. Like on a technical level, aside from like the actual game, but like their art section is the best of the best. Their sound design, the best of the best. Everything else, oh my god, they don't know how to make a video game
Yeah.
at all. Like it's always buggy, it's always broken, the network never works. They make the fucking dumbest design choices in the world when it comes to like actual like, you know, the whole leveling up system or like in that game you got tokens to get the ships and stuff. Like why are you overcomplicating this? We figured
Yeah.
out this stuff years ago and then what do they do later? They go back to the way it was because the way they're doing it was fucking dumb. I don't know. But no, Battlefront does not go on the list. And what sucks too is
it had the Walker Assault, so it had
that
that, and that was fun.
Walker Assault is awesome. And I
Hmm.
freaking those maps, those DLC maps that they release later are great. They're so pretty and they play fun and they're well designed and I'm pissed off because I can never play Walker Assault and I can never play on those maps because no one plays that fucking game anymore and it's online only.
Yep.
Fucking EA. That was back when people considered EA the worst company of all time, and I kind of agreed, at least in the entertainment sphere. Shitty. Play your games online, now buy the online pass.
I was gonna say Shantae and the Pirate's Curse too, but that one came out in 2014. I guess it was the Windows release.
I don't think I
All
would.
the releases past Nintendo were in 2015.
I also wouldn't consider Shantae one of the best
No,
games of all time. It's a good game,
no.
but not best game.
Wow.
All right, Jake.
What about
Okay.
Ultra Street Fighter 4?
No.
or hear me out, Splatoon.
All right, moving on to our fun question.
I like
of the
Splatoon.
week.
And Dr. Mario Miracle Cure and Lego Jurassic World.
If you would like to hear your question read on the show, please leave a comment in our YouTube video at youtube.com/thatoneandrew or youtube.com/silentlemp or on our Patreon at patreon.com/silentlemp. Jake, the question I have for you this week is, what is your favorite video game ending? This really spurred on from Tears of the Kingdom, where I liked the ending in the context of the story, and it would have been so much more impactful if Ganondorf was an actual character in the story. Because I that was something I texted you guys right away, was like, oh, Ganondorf got revived and died 10 minutes later. Like,
Well,
there was
actually,
no...
like he died like about a week later because Link was off like faffing about doing whatever.
No, I get that, but I'm saying, like, when he was
Yeah.
fully rejuvenated, he
Yeah.
died right away. It was the most, like, stupidest thing.
He did go around parading as Zelda for a bit. He got up to some hijinks and antics, telling people not to touch the
Yeah,
rocks.
he was like a fucking Saturday morning cartoon villain. He didn't do anything.
I'll get you, Link.
Anyways, that was not one of my favorite video game endings. But it got me thinking, like, what are some of my favorite ones? And
there's a few that stick with me. I don't know if it's my favorite, but the Mario 64 ending, it's a pretty like just sweet ending.
Yeah.
It's one that's like stuck with me for a while. Twilight Princess has a really, really good ending.
And I would say
that one's probably up there for me.
I'd say that's an ending sequence too. That whole, like, starting in the Twilight Zone castle,
fighting Ganon, and the final cutscene where Minda breaks the Mirror of Twilight. It's
all of it. It's so good.
It's really, really good. And it, to I guess a lesser extent, one that like I always think about is the final battle with Red in Gold, Silver, Crystal. I think that's just kind of like a really cool moment.
Yeah.
Like once you finally beat everything in the game, and it's all optional too, like to do that. Like, and then you make your way up Mount Silver and you find Red, your player character from the game before, who has an absurdly high level team for any other NPC. That I think it's the highest level team that's ever been in a Pokemon game period for an NPC.
I mean, makes sense. It's you from the last game.
Yeah, it's like all level 80 Pokemon or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's a cool fight, and it's a cool set piece, and it's kind of like a nice like kind of bow on the top of like what they thought was going to be the end of Pokemon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably say Twilight Princess. Probably.
Twilight Princess, yeah. So I'm interested.
I wanted to mention the Pokemon in Mario 64 just because like Mario 64 just has like a really sweet and just kind of like melancholic ending where it's just like, and it's like, thank you so much for playing my game and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
The little flashback of all the worlds you went through with the music playing and everything.
Yeah. I thought a different route. So the Modern Warfare 2 ending, fantastic cliffhanger.
Oh yeah.
Where everyone's dead. Literally, everyone's dead. The world's about to go to war. Russia just invaded America. You're basically dead. You had a knife in your chest, and you're getting dragged, bloodied, and it's like,
right. And then a place.
Yeah, he knows a place. Where's that place? Turned out it was India.
Da da dump, da da dump, da da dump. That also has kind of a Mario 64 ending because it goes to the museum showing all the levels you went through.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
And then Charles Martinet says, "Thank you so much for playing my game."
That's the secret ending. If you beat every level on Veteran without dying in a row,
Charles Martinet Shepard says, "Thank you so much for playing my game."
The Halo Reach ending is really good.
God, that's a good one.
Definitely sticks with me.
It's a nice bow on top of the whole series there for Bungie's goodbye.
Another ending where everyone dies. I'm
Yeah,
seeing a trend of I like
and
endings where
it flows so nicely into like the first dialogue from the first Halo
oh
game,
yeah,
and it's even better if you play the original version because it gives you that nice goodbye from Bungie.
yeah, yeah.
Whereas like in the MCC version, it's just a blank screen of seeing the
They just
ship
cut
fly
it
away.
out.
For it's like, all right,
Yeah, shit on their legacy.
mm-hmm,
Twilight Princess for sure. In terms of Zelda games, like that was their personally, in my opinion, that is still their crowning jewel of storytelling in Zelda is
mm-hmm.
Twilight Princess. I get that
And it's funny because it's a Zelda game they didn't want to make.
they didn't want to make, and then also people shit on it. They or shat on it for a long time. Like
Mm-hmm.
I for some reason I don't know when it was. I think it was around when the HD versions were
The
coming
Skyward
out.
Sword.
But like in between Twilight Princess releasing and like 2012, people I was in the minority of like Twilight Princess is a great game.
Mm-hmm.
People shat on that game. They're like, no, Twilight Princess fucking sucks. Ocarina's better, Wind Waker's better. Twilight Princess is the worst. It's just
No,
gray.
Ocarina held like the crown. Like
You,
no one could say anything against Ocarina being the
you,
best one for the longest time.
you remember when everyone was like, there's just no color in Twilight Princess. There's no color. And it's
And,
like,
and I get it. It's all brown. It's the early mid 2000s aesthetic for video games.
but that's fine. That
Mhm.
doesn't make a game, you
And the
know?
HD version does improve it a bit. There's a bit more hues in the color spectrum.
Yeah, I'm glad
Um,
that it's something where over time, I don't know if everyone was just quiet and it was a vocal minority. That's probably what it was.
no,
Same with
I was
like,
in love with Twilight Princess. That was my first introduction to Zelda.
yeah,
I
no,
didn't beat it till years later, but I played it a
it's
lot
a
when I was younger.
fantastic game. But you know, shocker, shocker, the ending to Persona 4 is fantastic too.
Yeah.
Like I love the whole you're at the train station, all your friends are there, and even if we're talking about sequences, like if you did get every social link and you're at the final boss, they have it to where they all pop up and they're like encouraging you to get back up and do it. It's just like a nice round culmination, and then you get the ultimate Persona stuff. Then everyone says goodbye, and then you're crying, they're crying, Nanako's crying, Teddy's there. Is great ending.
He's
Um,
naked.
he's naked. He always is. He feels more comfortable in the suit.
Hmm.
But yeah, those are probably my like go to best endings. Those are the ones that I think of right away. Are like those 4 or 5. Yeah, so. Tears of the Kingdom.
I like the ending of Persona 5 where if you romance everyone and then don't go to any of the Valentine's Day stuff, they all show up and kill you.
Dude, I don't. Susan's playing through Persona 5 now, and she's actually like 7 hours into it. She's playing on the
Hmm.
Switch, which I'm so glad that that game got ported everywhere because so many more people are playing it now because it is like accessible.
Hmm.
Um, and two things. First, she's like, there's a lot of dialogue. This is long.
Yeah.
Second, she's like, this is so dramatic. And it's true. That's what I hate. I hate about the beginning of Persona 5 is that Ryuji is so fucking annoying. And the amount of exposition too is ridiculous. You're in Kamoshida's castle and they're like arguing about track. And it's like this is the least of anyone's worries right now that he used to be the track star and broke his leg.
No, I would have loved if Persona 5 are the memes of it being Persona 5 Ryuji would have been real.
Man,
Just
that
everyone's
would have been
Ryuji.
great. But it's like I don't know. It's funny because she's also like every single time she plays it, she falls asleep because it's just so like
It's got a
unengaging.
relaxing vibe to it though too. Like a lot of the music is pretty like chill in that game.
That's true, but it's just that beginning, and it's funny because before that game came out, people used to shit on Persona 4's beginning because it was long,
Mhm.
but five's
No, I
is
remember the first time I played it. I was like, I was you let me borrow it, and I had a PlayStation TV, and I was like 2 hours in. I was like, is this a visual novel? Is there gameplay, Andrew?
yeah. I remember you messaged me. You're like, do you actually get to play? I'm like, yeah, you get to play. Which Persona 5 did. They rectified that, but
Hmm.
there was just a little tease because she's 7 hours in, and she's like, do I ever get to do anything after school? They always tell me I have to go right to bed.
Yeah, you're tired. Go to
And I'm
sleep.
like, eventually, it's just that's another, one day we will go through that. But I was gonna say, I don't even remember the ending to 5. I beat it. I don't.
Yeah,
It's
same.
so
I don't either. I'm sure Royale has a more definitive ending. Rogers seems to like the ending a lot to it, but I've never played
it's
Royale.
just so unmemorable. I mean, I remember you like the big persona and then shooting him through the chest, but everything after
I was ready to
that,
fight God.
Yeah, which you do in every game, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, in 2 you fight Hitler, but
It's true. You do. All right, moving on. News
yeah,
of the
I'd
week.
say I'd probably put Reach up there too. I didn't even think about it because it's just I don't know why, but it's just been so long since I've had that experience playing through Reach and it not be like a awful titty twisting experience of the Master Chief Collection achievement hunt.
It's good though.
Um, but no,
The
yeah,
story's good.
it's such a perfect story. And you know what's funny? Apparently, people shit on Halo Reach's story now, and I'm like, it's
Really.
all the Halo purists because it was a little bit of a controversy back in the day, but I didn't even hear it until later. That it directly conflicts with the events of the Fall of Reach book, which came
Hmm.
out around the time of Halo Combat Evolved.
I remember that. I
And
remember
Bungie
hearing
didn't even like the books. Like they didn't like the first couple books that were made. At least I don't know if they ever did like the other ones, but I know specifically they didn't like those because it explored Chief's backstory, and I think that's why they didn't adapt the book for the game
that. Yeah.
because they wanted to tell their own story about the Fall of Reach and not be adhered to like that. So
Yeah.
there's all these haters that put Halo Reach at like C tier on their lists for story, and I'm like, why? It's so good. Like, who cares that it doesn't line up with the books?
Oh, you're
Um,
talking about the canon. Don't even get started
mhm.
with that.
But and then I watched a video the other day where it makes the timeline work perfectly because I guess the game uses Reach's time and the book uses military time, like UNSC standard military time.
Yeah.
And when you put those together, it lines up very well. So people complain about the time not matching up and the dates when it actually does for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
And it also showed that you could do more stories without the chief that they have failed to do since then. And when they tried to do it, they got cold feet and threw the chief in there anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. News of the week.
Anyways, I
So,
digress.
yeah, that's fine.
What's our
Well,
favorite video game ending? Oh, the whole Halo franchise is fucked.
and it's typical for this show.
Mm.
Uh, two news stories. One of them is a quick one. It happened. I've read about it right when we were starting. Volition, who is owned by Embracer, has shuttered its doors. These are the developer of the Saints Row reboot. And of course, they also made Saints Row 3 for
Mm.
Get Out of Hell, and then they made a whole bunch of other games
Did they not
before.
make the first two?
No, they
Oh,
did
okay.
not. At least
That makes sense.
I don't think they did. Uh, this isn't surprising. As we reported a while ago, Embracer recently, they were going to have $1 billion investment that pulled out at the last second, and they're out of money. They have no money. Um, who would have thought that them just buying every studio under the sun would not pan out? And now we're
Mhm.
seeing one of their biggest studios, Volition, with one of their biggest franchises, Saints Row, which did not do well last year coming out. The reboot was, for all intents and
It
purposes, a
is
flop.
kind of sad seeing a lot of like 360 era franchises just kind of sputtering out and dying.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's the way of video games, unless you're named
Mhm.
Nintendo. But
And I think it also just goes to show how like strong that era was specifically because I don't think culture wise the early mid 2000s to like bleeding into the early teens
yeah,
translate like those types of games and aesthetics don't really translate well to what the market wants now.
no, no, not at all. And it's like I
Like
find
Gears of
myself,
War is so edgy and grungy, and then nobody cares anymore. That was like the game. God
I
of War, Gears of War. It's so bloody, gross, gray, dark, like brutal. It's just
yeah,
this brutalist aesthetic, and then
it,
now
it
it's just like,
really it really kind of started on PS2, but yeah, it really found its footing and original Xbox, but found its footing in the PS3 and 360 era. And I
mhm.
do find myself nostalgic for those games.
Oh
It's
yeah.
funny. I saw a
Even
post.
Halo, it went from being more colorful to kind of like a realistic, modern looking, like kind of Modern Warfare ish shooter with Halo
Yeah,
Reach.
I I had an old person moment because I
Yeah.
saw this post. I was like, oh my gosh, I found all these like awesome retro video games. Some of the best games on 360, these bangers. And it was showing like, Halo 3, Saints Row 3, Red Dead Redemption, BioShock. And I was like, and I had the moment of duh, everyone has these games, duh. Like I have all these games on my shelf. This isn't newsworthy. It's not like finding a case of N64 games. And I thought to myself, like, Oh
Oh, it
no, that
is.
was 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Kids these days who started on the PS4 or the Xbox One, that is like a box of gold. Not everyone
Mm-hmm.
has those games on their shelves. I'm like, I remember buying those games. These aren't amazing, hard to find games. They kind of are, actually. Yeah, they are. And I was like, oh, we're hitting that moment. It's like finding a box of N64 games in 2011, which would
Right.
have been like gold. It would have been like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh, Smash Bros.
Yeah, right? Anyways, going back to Volition, I think Volition closing is just the first of many studios,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, because Embracer is a terribly ran company, which Coke Media as a whole, they're all
Cola.
idiots. They're idiots. Um, but this also makes sense of the ones that are going to close this big one kind of near the beginning. They
Mm-hmm.
brought nothing to the table. Agents of Mayhem, which was their first game under THQ Nordic or Embracer, or whatever the publishing arm was,
Yeah.
Apple to Apple.
It was
Um,
weird.
it was weird and it didn't sell well and it was
Even
bad.
when it
And
was marked down to $3, no one bought it.
yeah, and then Saints Row, we already know how that went. Not well.
They didn't do
So
Battleborn, did they?
they did not. No, that was
Okay.
Gearbox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Volition. I hope everyone finds a job, but I hope the game producers and writers maybe rethink what you're doing. Because
Mm-hmm.
turning Saints Row into some fucking PC cultured bullshit was obviously the wrong move. You lost your job because of it.
Yeah.
So do better. But the real big story that I want to talk about was the PlayStation Portal, and I actually wrote a little news blurb for
Wow.
this. So PlayStation is
That's a new
back,
buzzword now, isn't it? Portal.
I guess. PlayStation is back in the portable sphere with their newest handheld, the PlayStation
Mm-hmm.
Portal, coming in at 199.99 US dollars, so it's $200. The Portal is designed to stream games from the PlayStation 5 over the internet to the Portal. The only catch is that's all it can do. Streaming games over the internet is not possible with the Portal, so as in like you have no home console, so PS Plus streaming is not possible, nor is downloading any other application to the device. The device also does not have Bluetooth capability, meaning only Sony headphones and soon to be released earbuds will be compatible with the Portal, unless, of course, you have wired headphones. The Portal is slated to launch on November 15th of this year, and it also comes with an 8-inch LCD screen and it is capable of 60 frames per second at 1080p.
And it gets like 2 hours of battery life because it's matching the DualSense controller, right?
I think the official DualSense battery life is like 5 hours. It just feels like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, they said that the official battery life would be about the same as DualSense, and DualSense between 4 and 6 hours, depending on.
Listen, I've tried to stream games from the PS4 to my iPhone. I know how that goes. This is going to be a
So what I'm
master
hoping,
wreck.
so what I'm hoping for this
Yeah.
price, and it's a dedicated like device. I am hoping that we see more Wii U and less streaming. And also, I was just thinking about this. So $200 for this device, I can only stream games. At
Mhm.
first glance,
It's
I'm
not
like,
even out of the household, isn't it? Isn't it just within the same household? And
no,
you
it's
can't
over
be.
the internet, so you can be
Okay.
like somewhere else and stream it. At first glance, I'm like, ew, that's expensive for not much going on. But then I think a
Hmm.
DualSense is about $60. Okay, it's got a screen, it's got the DualSense with its capabilities, and then I think of something like the Backbone. The Backbone is $100
Yeah.
straight up. The Backbone is
Well, this is technically
passable.
a backbone if you don't have a phone to snap your backbone into.
Yeah, so this is a Backbone with a phone, but a much better controller. The
Hmm.
buttons on the Backbone and the triggers on the Backbone are not great at all. This is a DualSense. I like the
Yeah.
DualSense. It's comfortable. So when I compare it to the Backbone, which is the only other alternative, I'm like, is this worth twice the price of a Backbone? Well, if a Backbone's worth $100, this is definitely worth $200 without a doubt.
I would say I would pay. I'd probably pay 100 for it.
100.
Mm.
See, I get that, but then I'm like, $100 feels like a steal. I think like 170 or 80 would have been like a good number.
Well, it's not even that like impressive screen. It's
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 not.
it's like buying a tiny TV and a
I
controller.
don't
The
think
controller is like $60-$70, and LCD screens are dirt cheap.
true,
This
but
is like a. I bet you they're making these for like $50, if that.
I don't think though. Well, I think there's more technology to it than that. Like, because the controllers themselves, like, there's a lot of tech in those controllers. I would argue that like I think 1080p for resolution is fine because once
Mhm.
you get that small, like
I'm not talking about the resolution. Just LCD is just whatever.
I
Like it
think it's
could be
fine.
OLED.
It could be, but OLED comes with its own problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can show you my Vitas right now. Like I mean, they're still fine, especially when
It's an
they're
old
on.
it's an old
But
OLED, but like the newer OLEDs they make don't have those same issues the older OLEDs do. Like
yeah,
the Switch OLED and the OLEDs they use on like smartphones now, like they've mostly fixed the shadowing issues of what
hmm
prior OLEDs have had problems with.
um. So so they have a Q and A at the bottom. Can PlayStation Portal Remote Play only be played on my home Wi-Fi network? So while your home Wi-Fi network represents a great option to play Portal, because you have control over the quality of your home Wi-Fi, it is not required. Portal can also be played wherever you have access to broadband internet Wi-Fi with at least 5 megabits per second use.
Does it have its own speakers?
For a better play experience, a high-speed connection of at least 15 megabits is recommended. If you're using public Wi-Fi, be aware the quality of internet may be out of your control. Let me see. You don't need PS Plus to play with the Portal. Can someone else use the TV that's connected to while I play the Portal? Yes, for example, someone else can watch a show or a
Yeah, it's like the Wii
movie.
U gamepad.
Yeah, yeah. So it's the same. I love that they say while you use PlayStation Portal Remote Player to play your favorite compatible games on its gorgeous
Compatible
eight,
games.
it says gorgeous 8-inch HD screen. I love all those like buzzwords and like, oh, this beautiful, gorgeous. All right.
It's HD. It's tasty. It's HD.
Um, but yeah. So I mean, here's the thing. Right
Like I said,
away.
I would be appalled if it wasn't HD.
Oh
720
yeah.
is HD.
It just says
If we're
20
getting
is
SD, I don't think
720.
HD is really a marketing term anymore. It's like that's just expected. It's not a
Yeah.
selling point.
I'm glad it's 1080 though. That's better than the Xbox One.
Better than Switch
Yeah, it's better than Switch.
most
Uh,
times.
but the thing is, I mean, I'm gonna get this because in the house that I live in, with the situation I have with us in the living room, things like that, this makes perfect sense for me.
Uh-huh.
Especially been really thinking about lately getting a second PS5 so me and Susan can play games together. If I can be out in the living room playing, no, streaming the PS5 from the game room while she's on the one in the living room, that works for a better experience with us. I
You'll buy
don't
that
know.
Spider-Man one, aren't you?
No, 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 no.
No.
I'm not.
That one they charge an extra $100 for just because it's Spider-Man.
No, I don't care about collector edition
Mm-hmm.
things anymore.
You don't even get a
Um,
physical copy of the game like you did with the other one.
I don't know. I think also that. So I don't know about the speaker. I'm reading through this. I don't see anything about the speaker, but I do think you're gonna laugh at this.
Yeah,
Pulse Explorer wireless earbuds. These are the earbuds that are coming out with the Portal.
they're like $200.
So the Portal's $200. These earbuds are $200.
Mm-hmm.
That's the egregious
I
thing.
mean, like I have a pair of earbuds. They're $300. I didn't buy them. I got them. I won them in a raffle. But I would expect them if they had active noise canceling and they featured a lot of the same features mine did. I'm like, these are going to be like $200 when they revealed them. They didn't have a price, and I was like, they're going to be at least $200. It's like
Yeah,
not worth it.
yeah.
Um,
I
and
mean, hopefully they're
it
good.
has its own speaker. I mean, I hope. I mean, they better be for $200. I mean,
It is Sony. Sony makes good tech.
mhm.
Like I expect this stuff. Even it's funny. People have been starting to compare PlayStation with Apple lately,
uh,
and I kind of agree. Where it's like I feel like they're expensive, but you're getting quality with them.
I mean, these are not quality.
That was pre. We're talking about new Sony, PS5
Yeah,
Sony. You know where you buy your fucking separate camera for them and your Pulse 3D headphones and your $200
I
earbuds.
didn't buy the fucking camera. I don't even know what it's used for.
You know what? I bought the camera and it sat in a drawer since
Yeah,
day one.
like what? Like we all thought it was like, oh, this will be for the new VR. No,
It's just streaming.
it's for just fucking whatever.
It's just for streaming. If you want to stream, you have the camera. There you go.
All right.
Um, but
I still
yeah,
don't have the Pulse 3D headset either, because I was also told this is a Pulse 3D headset.
yeah. I don't know. But the Portal looks cool. Price for me, it's whatever. Two
I
hundred
think
bucks.
like if it goes on like a sale, like it probably will. It'll probably be a Black Friday sale or something. It'll end up being a niche PlayStation TV esque product. and it'll
maybe.
go real dirt cheap at some point. I'll pick one up then. Just like I did
Or
with the PSVR, I picked it up for $150 instead of the $400 they were originally selling it for.
not like the $550 for the new one.
Yeah, I'll also wait for that one to go down to $150.
Yeah, yeah,
And that
yeah.
only took a year, less than a year for the original PSVR.
Yeah. So interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
I don't know. PlayStation's doing a lot better, I think, than it was then, so they probably won't do as drastic of sales like they used to.
probably not. I mean, PS5s are selling like crazy. PS Plus
Mm-hmm.
subscriptions are great, and they're doing good. You know, they're riding high.
Oh yeah,
So they don't need a price cut yet. Then, in fact, they're increasing prices everywhere. They're not
right.
decreasing prices.
Also, did you see that Modern Warfare 3 is $70?
I did. You actually mentioned it at the beginning of the
Yeah,
show.
yeah. I know. I wanted to talk more about that. That's insane. For a game, it's just a new campaign. The menus are the same as Modern Warfare 2. The multiplayer is exactly the same. It's made within less than a year.
Okay, here's the thing though.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna throw a little rebuttal because I
yeah.
don't disagree with you, but I remember hearing the exact same argument. I think it was even
Mhm.
about Call of Duty before, where people were
Yeah.
like, "This is just an asset flip. They're using the same assets and stuff." Well, duh. It's- Breath of
Okay.
the Wild has the same fucking menus, or Tears of the Kingdom has the same menus as Breath of the Wild. They have the same assets. I don't care. It's a new game. If the multiplayer mode is the same but it has new maps, that's what's
I would
important are
not
the maps.
compare Modern Warfare 3 to Tears of the Kingdom. It's a bit meteor of a change.
I don't agree. I'm saying Breath of the Wild to Tears of the
Mhm.
Kingdom is like Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3. Is the same
I don't think
menus.
either of those
It's
are
the
worth seventy
same.
dollars.
That's fair.
I don't even think Tears of the Kingdom are worth $70.
That's
I only
fair.
bought it
But
because of FOMO.
I'm saying that if you're like criticizing Modern Warfare 3 because they have the same menus, then criticize Tears of the Kingdom because they have the same menus too.
Sure, I criticize it because it uses the same exact sound effects. The
Yeah,
sound engine's better for sure, but like when I pick up items and
yeah, it's the
like
same thing.
achieve something, it's the same exact sounds that I was hearing in Breath of the Wild. It was annoying.
But for
They
me
didn't even
personally,
remix them.
like that stuff, I don't care. I don't care about
Hmm.
if that's the exact same. The whole like
But
I
like
don't
when you can go out and buy like what just came out, the Resident Evil
Starfield,
4 remake
Starfield,
for
or
sixty
Resident Evil.
bucks.
Yeah,
Why is Modern Warfare 370?
but
It,
well, it's just because
it's
they know people will buy it. Because Modern Warfare 3 is Call of Duty. I want to play Call of Duty. I don't want to play Resident Evil. That's why. I mean that's what it boils down to is that do
Mhm.
you want to play Call of Duty in the new campaign? You're gonna have to pay $70. Well, this game's $60. That's great, but it's
It's
not Call of
greedy.
Duty. I mean, it's
It's
greedy, but
it's pure greed. It's garbage.
it's also the market though. Like if
Yeah, because there's
I,
like 5 games that are $70, and they'll be one of them.
yeah, but people buy it. That's the thing.
Hmm.
If
Well,
they
because it's Call of Duty, not because
exactly,
it's worth $70.
but it is to the people that buy it. If it
No,
wasn't,
they're
they
spending
wouldn't
seventy
buy it.
dollars because they want to play Call of Duty, not because they think it's worth $70.
But don't you see? They do because they're spending $70. If they didn't think it was worth $70, they wouldn't buy
I
it.
mean,
If they,
I bought Tears of the Kingdom, and I didn't think it was worth seventy
well,
dollars.
that was your decision. You also buy
Mhm.
collector's editions for $100 that you never
Well,
play.
those ones
But
I think are worth. Like
some of
I
them,
buy collector's editions for prices I think that are fair. If it's something like what the Persona 3 one, where it's like
yeah,
$200 $300, no, I'm not
yeah,
gonna buy that. It's bullshit. The Persona 5 one was $80, and it came with just as much stuff. Um,
yeah. I think it was only missing the statue, which I think is
yeah,
what's driving the price
and the
up.
Royale had the mask, but
Yeah,
and it was also like $80.
that one's
Um,
over 100. It was like 110.
Still, it was around that ballpark.
Yeah, it
That's
was
why I didn't
more
buy
than
the Tears of the Kingdom collector's edition, because it's like $120 something. That was as much as the Master Edition.
and
It
it
didn't
had
come
like
with near
nothing
as
in it.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Um,
agree. And for me, Call of Duty is not worth $70. But
mhm.
it's that thing of like if they said
I'm not
next
going to
year,
defend it. I'm not going to sit here and defend that price.
well, I don't think it's the right
You
price
can
either.
rationalize it, but you can't. I'm not going to let you defend it.
I'm saying, but
Mhm.
I think what you're
You always
missing is
want to play
that
devil's advocate for like the worst arguments.
I'm not playing devil's advocate. I'm
Mhm.
saying that you're saying
Mhm.
people who buy it for $70 are saying it's not worth $70. But I'm saying the fact that they're buying it for $70 is them
Mhm.
saying this is worth $70. No one's forcing them to buy it. No one's pointing a gun to the head and say you have to buy this for $70. That is the choice that they are making, and they are
You can
paying
sell your
for it.
games for $70. As soon as a Pokemon game comes out for $70, I'm going to start burning down houses.
But you're gonna buy it, and you buying it
No,
is saying that it's worth it.
I can buy a Pokemon game for $70.
You buying Tears of the Kingdom for $70, whatever the reason was,
I bought it
whether
for
it
the
was
show.
whether it was for the show, for FOMO, you were saying this is worth $70 for my reasoning. Now you might not feel that way inherently, but you still did it, which means that some part of you said this is worth $70. And that's what I'm saying about Call of Duty is that like if it came out next year and it was $200 and we saw the sales fucking plummet because
Mhm,
people are saying this is not worth $200, then we would say obviously. But
mhm,
we've seen with the price increase that sales haven't decreased. Actually, sales have gone up. When we talked about Modern Warfare 3, I didn't realize that they're back to their peak. Modern Warfare 2 sold almost 30 million units, which is
mhm.
the highest they've ever sold. That's everyone
I don't
saying.
think 3 will sell as well because
I don't
people
think
didn't
it,
like 2.
I don't think it will either.
Mhm.
But that's still
I think it
people
was
saying
purely because
it was
of
nostalgia.
nostalgia. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's purely because it's like, oh, look, it's Ghost. Oh, I love Ghost.
exactly. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
I think all of us bought it. Like that's why Roger kind of buys all of them. But like
Mhm.
you bought
Yeah.
it, I bought it, Roger bought it. It's because like it was
I
going
bought it for
back,
half off.
and that's what it was
Mhm.
worth to you. But a lot of people bought it. It was the highest. It was the
I still haven't
fastest
played it.
selling Call of Duty game ever
Mhm.
for $70, and that's because people thought this $70 was worth what they were getting.
I'll tell you, Target they had a buy two get one sale right around the time it came out, and it was on there.
There
A
you
lot of
go.
people probably bought it at Target for that buy two get one.
I don't think most of them did. I think most people buy their game. Well, I know most buy them digitally for full
Yeah.
price,
Well,
which
they
I
got
think
the
is even
digital
more.
deluxe edition, which lets you play it 3 days early.
Yeah, and again, like for us, that's nowhere near worth an extra what $10 for
It's
that
like
or
$80 for that one or something like that.
yeah,
It used to be $80. Who knows? It's probably $90 now.
yeah. It's like or like Starfield. Starfield to play it early, you have to pay $80, or you can pay it on play on a
Mhm.
Game Pass. Is Starfield worth $80? For me, fuck no.
No.
It's on a subscription, but for the people who bought it for $80, it is.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to tell you that it is worth that price. I'm saying people are saying it is because they buy it.
and I think it's a crime that the sports games are going to $70. I think those shouldn't be like $30 games, if
Yeah,
that.
and you know what? I own a lot of sports games. I don't think I've ever spent more than $20 on them ever
Hmm.
because I
Yeah,
wait for them to go on sale. Because no way in hell are they worth 70
the
bucks.
only sports games I own are ones I've gotten on PS Plus.
Yeah, which I mean, you have every NBA game for the last 10 years because
Yeah.
they always get on there.
Hmm.
But again, that's just the market speaking, and they're going to keep pushing it until their sales plummet,
Hmm.
which then they'll say, okay, we need to go back because the
Since
market.
games are more content deprived than they have been ever, and
Some
they're
of them.
charging more.
Some of them are. Some of them aren't.
Most of them.
Because honestly, even like the 2K games, the NBA games,
Hmm.
those are actually like some of the most content rich games. I was baffled playing 2K23 because they have the WNBA, they have a whole career mode,
Then
they have a
why
whole
do they
My League
need to
mode
like just rake in people's money on the like career modes?
because people
Like it's
do it.
all microtransaction shit. The games make more money than they've ever have ever. They don't need to be
Yeah.
$70.
But my point is people buy it.
Mm-hmm.
You would be a dumb business person if you just didn't do that. The
Mm-hmm.
reason that
The
EA,
only people do it is because of Sony.
I don't think that's true at all. Sony didn't start that stuff.
Yeah, they did. They started the $70.
Oh, well, okay, we're talking about two different things now
Yeah.
because you're starting talking about
Mm-hmm.
microtransactions, which was different. That was someone else. But I was going to bring up a point of like EA, they stopped doing microtransactions because the market for their game said, no, we're
Mm-hmm.
not doing this. Actually, fuck you. We're not going to buy your game now. They
But now
stopped.
they just do battle passes.
But yeah, they do battle passes because people are fine with doing that. They do that. They're like, okay, I'll do a battle
They
pass for
put battle
$10.
passes in $70 games. That's
They do.
stupid.
They
Let's have
absolutely.
all the unlockable content behind a paywall.
And not only that, they do well. I think bad games do that. So like Call of Duty,
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing. Go back to Battlefield. I am genuinely surprised how much free stuff you get because I've leveled up to like level 44 and I have a shitload of stuff unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
But they also have the battle pass too, where you get even more. I think game, especially first person shooters, makes no sense. I'm like,
Yeah,
this is so
especially
dumb.
Halo. Halo
Like
Infinite is
you
trash.
unlock skins and stuff. I'm like, I can't see this. Well, when I
Mm-hmm.
die, I'll see my character dead on the ground. Like,
You
oh,
see
there's
your
my
arms.
legendary skin. But like but Call of Duty, I played that game Warzone Not a lot, but enough. I haven't unlocked anything in that
You see,
game.
there's Nicki Minaj you can buy now.
I did. I did see
Mhm.
that. It's dumb.
Yeah,
But again, it's all about the market. And that's my point. I'm not playing devil's advocate on this. I'm just
hmm
saying what is happening. Is that
games
Call of
cost
Duty
more than they ever have before, and they have
do?
less content than they ever have before. Just a general sense.
Yes and no. I
Because they're
think
in because all the new content comes through post launch updates. Every game comes out broken,
a
and it
lot of them do,
always
yeah.
has a battle pass that just rakes even more money out of you.
That's true.
When you could just go back and pick up a game from like 2007 and it has more content than something that launched yesterday.
But at the same time, we have Pikmin 4, which has the most content rich Pikmin game ever for the
True,
same price.
because that
Looks a
game's
lot
not broken on
better.
release and doesn't have
It's
DLC.
not broken and it doesn't have DLC. So it's like a mixed bag of we live at the same time in the best era of games where you can find a $20 indie game that has more content than fucking Final Fantasy 7, but
Mm-hmm.
then you have $70 Madden 24. It's like, and you just got to pick and choose because I mean, personally for me, I don't buy those games, and I just think we're in the best gaming era ever because I only play the good games. You know, I only buy the good games. But then there's
Mm-hmm.
that person who only buys Call of Duty and FIFA and Madden, and they're spending
Like even
7.
Diablo 4, like it was very promising at first, and then they just destroyed
It
it with
was.
microtransactions and
It
seasons and
was.
shit.
And I think that's also kind of like like a thought process behind it or something. Because like if I were to play Diablo 4,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type of gamer who I play the game, I beat it, I'm done. You know?
Yeah,
I'm not into the season 4, season 5 content updates and stuff. Even games
but
that
it
like
ruined it for people who even don't want to do the seasons because your progression is like grinded to a halt now.
yeah, cuz they retroactively like change things.
Mm-hmm.
So I missed out on playing it at the right
Yeah,
time.
same.
So I'm going to have a
I had
worse
a good time playing it for a little bit with Roger when he was over, but then I never played it again after that. So now it's like it's not going to be fun anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that's Activision too. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like maybe it's less about games and more about certain developers who are
It's
like
just
kind of ruining
business.
it.
It's just there's no
It is.
like creative soul to anything anymore. The same. It's like it's kind of like affecting the entire entertainment industry right now.
Well, I think it's where you look because a
Mhm.
game like Sea of Stars that just came
Yeah, it's
out,
an indie game. I'm talking about like just like
you're talking
your
AAA,
yeah
yeah,
your
like
AAA,
yeah.
your big budget like showstoppers, like everything you're gonna see at EA or any conference is just soulless and crap now.
No, I
It's like,
agree.
let's do a remake. Let's do an HD port of, or just not even an HD port. Let's just
Well,
port Red Dead.
I think the
Um,
new thing now is reimagining. Like that's my problem with Sony is that like Sony really started hitting like they were hitting their heyday
mhm.
between the PS3 and PS4 because they had that creativity of PS3, but also like the evolution into PS4. But now we're starting to get into and it sucks because
Well, that was
again,
a problem with the launch of the PS4. Is most of it were just HD ports of PS3 games
yes, but I meant like then their new games
or
too were
HD. It was
like
already HD.
they were all reimaginings, like the God of
Mm-hmm.
War reimagining or whatever, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're all just the same. God of War Ragnarok was God of War. Spider-Man 2 is just going to be Spider-Man, but they're a little bigger, a little better, but it's going to be the same game. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
I liked it when games had their, and we talked about the Slasher too, but they had their trilogy, then you move on. But that doesn't make money. Making money is here's Spider-Man 2, which is an asset flip. The menus are the same. The world is the same. A lot of the combat's going to be the same, but it's a little different. And the story's different, and we've added more things. But it's kind of the same game for $70.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if you have a problem with Modern Warfare 3 being an asset flip, it's like Spider-Man 2 as well. And I get the dev time matters and things like that too.
Spider-Man 2 is not an asset flip. They've made the city bigger. Like they've redid all the assets.
I bet you there are parts on the Manhattan Island that are exactly the same from PS4 to
Probably
PS5.
as far as like the
Exactly the
character
same.
models and like it's I don't know. That was
But
a little different. That's a little,
okay,
it's different than literally copy paste the entire menu
but
in
it's just a
everything
menu.
else.
Well, you don't know that. It's obvious not everything else. There's going to be new
Mhm.
levels. There's going to be new enemies. Like I'm sure there's not going to be the exact same levels and
But
stuff
the
as
amount of money that was put into Mario 2 is going to be nothing compared to how much money they sunk into Mario 3. It's going to be mostly paid for the voice actors and cinematics, and that's it.
I have no idea.
Everything in the world is going to be an
And
asset
I
flip.
would love to know how much they actually did pay because if you look at how many
Because never in history have we had a sequel to a Call of Duty game less than a year after it came out.
that's not
I'm not talking about another Call of Duty entry. I'm talking about just a sequel
Like a
to the
direct
prior one.
sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think Black Ops did.
Black Ops 2 didn't come out the year after. Or were
No,
you
no,
talking about
no.
Black Ops 3 to 4?
One of them did. I'm pretty
4 didn't
sure.
even have a campaign. That was a Battlefield 2042 situation.
Yeah,
Campaign
but
got cut for BR.
I'm pretty sure one of them came out like directly. Well, I should just look at Call. I think Call of Duty is the only
Well,
one
I know
that
Black Ops 3 came out like what was it like? It would have been
2013,
2014 because
2014.
2013 was Ghosts.
Um.
Because that was the last 360 Call of Duty was Black Ops 3.
Okay. Yeah. So no, it wasn't. There was no Black Ops that came out in sequence.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was, but maybe I'm thinking of four and then Blackout or something. I don't know.
And we were told that we weren't getting a Call of Duty game this year, and they lied to us.
They
If it
did.
was if it's a story expansion, that's one thing. It's a $70 standalone game. That's another thing.
And I think what's wild about it too, and the
Mm-hmm.
only reason why I'm like it's not an asset flip. Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but also another like kind of like evidence that I'm thinking that it's going to be more is that at the end of the trailer, I've never in my life seen so many developers for one game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess it is technically possible if you got literally 15 studios to work on a single game, you can make it in 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
Which they literally have every single studio they own working on Call of
Hey,
Duty.
listen, they made Halo 2 and 9, so
They
but
did.
that was like 100 people
Yeah,
in
I
a
mean,
console that didn't need a million people to make a game for.
I'm sure thousands and thousands of people are working on Call of Duty right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
And Halo
then,
2 wasn't done, so there's
yeah, and this
that.
game might not be done either. We don't know. Maybe this game is
Probably
like
won't be.
it
Probably
might
be
be
broken
9
as fuck.
campaign missions. I have no idea. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But
I
anyways,
think it would have been better if they would have made it a story expansion rather than a sequel.
yeah, I mean the last game they did the whole
We can
spec
make another
ops thing.
Warzone with it too. Warzone 3.0 is coming out with this. It's like, why'd make another Warzone?
Well, that's just the seasons. This is like Fortnite Chapter 4 or whatever.
It wasn't Warzone 2 a completely separate Warzone. Like
No,
it's a brand new download.
they just. I think it would. I think it's just like Fortnite, where you download the update, but then the whole world changes. But it's the same. It's the same game, same app
Okay.
that you're all. Actually, now Call of Duty is just one app. Like you can put in the Modern Warfare 2 disc and like Black Ops Cold War's there, Warzone's there. It'll show coming soon, Modern Warfare 3 or whatever, and
Okay.
you just download it from your console, but then you can start it
I've
from.
heard a big problem with Mario Warfare 2 when it first came out was that even in the regular multiplayer, it was loading the entire BR world. So that's why it took so long for matches to load.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. We'll have to wait and see. All right, moving
Okay.
on. I don't even know how we got there.
Hmm.
Honestly, uh,
How we
new
get anywhere?
releases. I don't know. This Nat is still. I still can't get them. Okay. New
Not
releases
important.
for the week. We have two big ones. These also aren't releasing at the same time, but whatever. I don't fucking care. Jake, you want to go
Yeah.
first or second?
Go a second.
Okay. Because the first one's your favorite game, right?
Yeah.
Game of the year.
Totally.
Coming out on September 5th. I only know that because I just looked it up. Starfield.
Or tomorrow.
Or tomorrow for early access. Starfield for Xbox and PC. But remember, Xbox doesn't take games away from PlayStation. What? Starfield is a new universe in 25 years from Bethesda Game Studios. By the way, side point. Every time I read that, I laugh. Because Bethesda, technically, this is their first new universe ever. Because they didn't fucking make Fallout.
Yeah.
And they
True.
didn't make Elder Scrolls.
They make Doom.
They didn't make Doom. They didn't make anything. This is actually, not even joking, the first true new IP Bethesda has ever made.
They had a card game on the NES. It's like a tarot card reading game.
Fair. But Fallout and Elder Scrolls, they didn't make those.
Mm-hmm.
They like to pretend like they did. They're the Elon Musk of game developers.
Right.
No, I made Tesla. I made
Meanwhile, Obsidian's over here like, sure.
Starfield is the first new universe in 25 years from Bethesda Game Studios, the award-winning creators of the Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, and Fallout 4. In this next generation role-playing
Like how
game
they did
set
Fallout
amongst
76 in there.
that game doesn't exist. Amongst the stars, create any character you want and explore with unparalleled freedom, unless you played No Man's Sky, as you embark on an epic journey to answer humanity's greatest mystery. The year is 2330. Humanity has ventured beyond our solar system, settling new planets and living as a spacefaring people. From humble beginnings as a space miner, you will join Constellation, the last group of space explorers seeking rare artifacts throughout the galaxy, and navigate the vast expanse of the settled systems and Bethesda Game Studios' biggest and most ambitious game.
Man, I love that they in the year 2330 apparently we've explored enough of the galaxy. It's almost like Earth. It's not worth exploring for anything anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So, two things about this. First off, I still have yet to hear anyone of prominence mention how this is just a ripoff of No Man's Sky. I don't understand why no one is saying that, because when I see this,
I think a lot of people just wrote off No Man's Sky after its
failed
flawed
launch.
beginnings, and
Yeah,
then
maybe that's what it is. They just don't know that No Man's Sky is like fucking amazing now.
mm-hmm.
Like
And $60 again.
the
How about a
actual
great dollars?
the actual gameplay of No Man's Sky is
Mhm.
fantastic,
And it's
and
cross
like
compatible. Like you can
it's
play
cross
with
compatible.
people on PC and Xbox and PlayStation all together.
The updates keep adding, and they're an indie company.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hello Games is like 80 people, you
They
know.
made the Daredevil game or
Joe
whatever.
Danger. They made
Yeah,
Joe Danger
Joe
before No
Danger.
Man's Sky. Yep. Um, Second thing, I think it's yesterday or today, they announced that Elder Scrolls 6 is finally in pre-production.
Yeah, I saw that.
That game is never
These were
coming
announced
out.
at the same time, weren't they? Six and
Yes, they
Starfield.
were.
Mm-hmm.
They were. Elder Scrolls 6 was announced 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It'll actually, no joke, be a fucking decade at least before that game comes out. At least. Anyways,
Be next
Starfield.
generation.
There you go. Congrats, Xbox. You totally didn't cancel the PlayStation version. You made this game all by yourself, and you don't take games away from other platforms.
Merry Christmas, Xbox.
Happy birthday, Xbox.
Happy Easter, Xbox.
What a reference. Do you think people know that reference, or just like
No.
very select? Who was it? That was Usher?
Yeah.
Was that Usher?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was Usher, right?
Was it for like I think it was like for the Kinect Just Dance games or something like that.
Great
What an
reference.
era.
We're so old. We're so old now. People don't fucking know that. Like,
Don't say it.
Whatever. Next game.
Our next release is Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon for Nintendo Switch.
No, it's on PlayStation, Xbox, PC. I didn't write it down. My bad.
Nintendo Switch. No, I'm just kidding. Everything
It
but
would make your Nintendo Switch
for
a
PlayStation
Fire
Portal.
Rubicon.
Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon combines From Software's long-standing expertise in mech games with their signature action gameplay to bring a brand new high-octane experience to the series. In Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon, players will assemble their mech from a wide variety of parts and weaponry to soar freely through the mission locales that redefine three-dimensional mobility. Face down overwhelming opposition by outgunning and overrunning your enemies with dynamic movement that makes full use of ranged and melee combat. Players can experience frenetic and fast-paced action that can only be truly achieved with mechs. And I'm pretty sure the same people that did this did that mech game on the Switch.
You did that? That wasn't From Software.
It wasn't From Software. I'm pretty sure like the guy who was like the main guys behind that did this game or like
What
were
was that?
came for this game.
What was that game called? That was called. Because I know what you're
It
talking
was Daemon X Machina.
about. Damon X Machina. You know, it's funny because reading that description, it's like I bet you there's so many people that are like, why is From Software, the Dark Souls guys, why are they making a fucking mech game, not knowing that there's more Armored Core games than there are Dark Souls games?
Mm-hmm.
There's like fucking 7,000 precisely. Mitsuru Yamamura producers, Yasunori Orgera. No, it doesn't look like anyone was the same on these games. Just I mean, there's 4 million mech games, and I will say,
I mean, I think this one was like I think Demon X Machina may have just been like a spiritual successor to Armored Core. Maybe that's what I got confused.
probably Demon X Machina was also that's Marvelous. No, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's all it was just like inspired. It's fun though. I really like customizing the mechs. You can like change all the paint jobs and stuff. And
No, I've been seeing people like make like Evangelion mechs and like Megazords and Gundams and Kirby.
And they have a whole like you can upload it and then download other people's mechs and stuff like that. So
and
cool.
then you can mod in CJ to pilot a giant CJ from
I saw that. Yeah,
from GTA
Right.
San
Yeah, Grand
Andreas.
Theft Auto.
Mhm.
I really like just my initial getting in there a little bit. I really like that the levels aren't long.
Yeah.
They're meant to be short, fast paced, and the purpose is to go back, replay them, get that S rank and things like that. But it's a nice change of pace, and like I said at the beginning of the show, it's nice familiarity of that PS2 and 360 era of action games where it's like there's nothing super technical about it. It's really just like kind of run and gun, have fun with your mech. This isn't that serious, and I'm like, that's what I'm looking for right now. uh or I guess not even looking for right now, but just like it's a nice familiarity of like old school action, not
Oh yeah.
not
The
dark.
very kind of like PS2 era like arcade style games.
Yeah, yeah, very arcadey. That's a good word for it. It's very
Hmm.
arcadey, complete opposite of Starfield. So, well, Jake, I think I already know, but pick of the week out of these two games, which would you be more interested in?
I'm gonna say the PlayStation Portal.
All
No, I'm
right,
just kidding.
yeah,
Armored
PlayStation
Core
4.
6 for
Yeah,
sure.
do you have Game Pass?
Yeah.
Are you gonna even check out Starfield at all, or are you just not
Mm,
interested?
probably not. I don't really care that
No.
much, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I think my morbid curiosity of just like wanting to experience every game, I'm gonna check it out. I can
Hmm.
already feel the. I don't know because it's
It's
weird.
mostly just a issue of me wanting to clear space on my Xbox to have room to check it out, and I don't really care to do that.
It is like 110 gigabytes.
Mhm. And I
Um,
already have a game taking 110 gigabytes in
yeah,
Call of Duty Black Ops 3 that I don't want on there anyway. So,
right, right. It's interesting because when it comes to Bethesda games, I either can't jive with it. I've probably put hundreds of hours into Skyrim. I never beat Skyrim ever.
yeah,
But
same. I
Fallout
mean, I probably
4.
haven't put hundreds of hours into it, but
Yeah, Fallout 4 though I did beat, and I played a shitload of Fallout 4. I don't know
mhm.
why, because I didn't really. I've never beat 3 or Vegas. I just can't get into those games. I don't know why,
Yeah,
but 4
it's
clicked with
just
me. So
I don't know. It's kind of a depressing world.
yeah, right. It's just like, and I wonder if Starfield's going to be different because it's not
Starfield's
post.
just gonna be empty.
You think so? It's
I mean, I think
big, thousand
I
planets.
don't see how it's gonna be like fun. That's my
Yeah,
problem with No Man's Sky. At least when I first played it, it was just like there was just like nothing. Like
yeah.
I guess that's the point, but like at least Minecraft kind of gripped me in some way, but nothing's been able to grip me like Minecraft has in that kind of like just do mine and do things in this big expansive world of
We already
nothing.
we already have a Minecraft.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying Starfield is Minecraft. I think they're not remotely the same at all. But it is like, is this
that
going to be
seed was
a game?
planted with Minecraft.
Is this a game where reviewers are getting Breath of the Wild syndrome, where it's like, oh, it's so new and pretty and amazing, then you play the game and
Mhm.
it's like empty and shallow?
Yeah.
Is most of this game spent clearing out pirate outposts and walking around cool worlds, which is cool, I guess, but it's like, where's the game?
Mhm.
Or is there actually going to be like,
Because everything I've seen in this game is just like looks boring.
yeah, like 1,000 planets? Like, if this is your one game that you buy, great. If that's what you like, that's why people like Skyrim. People have played Skyrim 1,000 times. My father still plays Skyrim. My brother still plays
Mhm.
Skyrim because they just love that world and
Roger's dad still plays Halo Wars.
yeah. And if you're into that stuff, awesome.
Mhm.
But
I don't know. I think that's the same problem I have with Tears of the Kingdom. It's just when Breath of the Wild came out, I had a lot more time to enjoy a game like that, and I just don't have the time to sit down and play like hundreds of hours in this big, empty, open world with a bunch of things to do.
yeah,
I just want to play like a nice, tight story game. You know,
yeah, no, totally. And like
like,
that's
even older RPGs are a lot more fun because you can just plow through them in like 50, 60 hours,
yeah.
and that's more realistic than hundreds of hours.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not going to be able to, like a game like this, I'm not going to be able to see everything and enjoy everything. And I'm sure most of it was procedurally generated because there's no way that you just
A
get a
thousand
thousand
planets.
planets. Like you don't. I mean, maybe I don't know. 5 years development, they couldn't even get a Halo game campaign made in 5 years, and you expect me to think they built 1,000 fleshed out planets
I mean,
in 5 years?
that's gonna be the thing. Is like, it's possible that they did 1,000 planets, like handmade, but
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be massive, like massive texture builds, not no minutia, no detail. There's
Yeah.
not gonna be like cool, specifically designed things. I mean, maybe here and there, and I think that's what I'm kind of expecting most planets to be. Honestly, I'm expecting most planets to be empty. but
Yeah.
most are going to be like these huge, just random mountains and shit put on everywhere, and then there's going to be a pirate outpost somewhere, and then go to the
Mhm.
outpost, you found the thing, that's all there
I think
was.
you're gonna have like your main big planet. You may have a couple that are have like story significance and
Yeah,
a decent amount of fleshed out parts, but most of like I say like probably 99% of those other planets are just gonna be nothing.
yeah, because 99% would be like 10 planets actually have stuff, which sounds about
Hmm.
right. Yeah, you'd
Hmm.
have probably like, and maybe 10's even too much. You have four, five are really
Yeah,
fleshed out, really built. But
that's all I need. Like Star Wars game, Star Wars. There's like 10 planets that aren't desert planets.
yeah,
So like I like to go to those ones. Like it just makes them like really cool, worth exploring planets, and
yeah.
don't think that we need more content over like quality.
And this is going to be where it's like we're talking about
I'm sure like
bloated.
300 of those planets look exactly the same.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. And we talk about bloated game budgets, and you talk about $70 and prices going up and things like that, but also Modern Warfare 3 has 12 developers working on it. They're probably
Hmm.
spending $400 million in 1 year on this one fucking game because they feel like they have to make it bigger. They have to make it shinier, prettier. Why the fuck are the guys that made Fallout 3 and Skyrim? Because Skyrim is a big game.
Hmm.
It's not as big as Breath of the Wild.
No,
You go back to Skyrim now, Skyrim feels small. And they feel like they have to keep getting bigger and bigger. And it's like we're getting to the point where it's literally like planets. We have full planets to explore. It's like, but why?
how many Zelda games have came out since Skyrim?
Three.
3.
Well,
Not.
so Skyward Sword, I think, released before in 2011. So it's just Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. But then we also have like Triforce Heroes, uh,
Hmm. Link Between
Ocarina
Worlds,
HD, Link Between Worlds, Link's Awakening
George
HD,
Mask.
Majora's Mask HD, those games.
It's a lot of
Um,
games.
yeah, there will probably be the next Zelda will probably come out before Elder
I
Scrolls.
guess we got Elder Scrolls Online. That's where most of their like time
Yeah,
went to for a while.
yeah, but they don't make that. They have an Austin team that makes that.
Okay.
So the
I guess
actual,
that was
the
no excuse for
actual,
Final Fantasy either. I guess.
the
How many
actual
Final Fantasy games
Bethesda,
have we gotten since Skyrim?
a lot. All of their
How
team.
many Final Fantasy 7 games have we gotten since Skyrim?
Fucking Kingdom Hearts 3 came out.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
we're
Honestly,
gonna get Half Life 3 before Elder Scrolls 6 comes out.
there is a non-zero chance that the Final Fantasy VII remake trilogy is done before Elder Scrolls 6 is out.
Hmm.
That is an actual possibility because if they're starting pre-production now, I'm assuming they're close to post-production in Rebirth. Fucking that, dude. Um,
When do you think
and
we're gonna get another trailer for Elder Scrolls 6? You think we'll get one next year?
no,
No, you don't think they'll give us like another teaser just to remind everyone, like, "Hey, we're gonna this coming.
I
We didn't
think
forget about it." Because I don't think this is a big enough announcement for the general audience. I think like people like us, we're gonna see it,
no, but
but like
that's because
they're gonna want people to think about the next thing.
they're focused on Starfield, right? And well, they don't. They even said during those whole court cases, they said in interviews like, "We fucked up. We should not have said Elder Scrolls 6. We should not have mentioned it because we have
We
nothing
shouldn't
to
have
say
had a
about it."
mountain with a JPEG on it.
Yeah, that's all they had. They had nothing. But they did that because they didn't want people to
Do you
think that
think?
they were
Do you think that
abandoning it.
environment is even going to be in Elder Scrolls 6 if they show it
No,
off?
no, it's not real. None of that's
Yeah,
real.
it's unreal.
It's yeah, probably built on. No, they have their own engine that's
Hmm.
fucking trash.
Halo's going to Unreal.
Everything's going to Unreal
Hmm.
or what's the other one?
I just love Halo
Uh,
Infinite's so dead, and like apparently they've just completely thrown away the slip space engine because they've destroyed it so bad. So they're just gonna move over to Unreal for the next project. I think even the BR, that if that's still even what it is, that Certain Affinity's making is using Unreal.
yep, it's games are interesting. So,
Hmm.
anyways, exciting to see how Starfield sells. Is this what's going to bring Microsoft back? Probably not, but you never know.
I think they're doing all right this generation.
I think it's also well, I don't think they are. The last we heard, between Series S and X, they've sold like a little over 20 million units, and
Okay,
sales are on the decline,
they
which
did better than Xbox One.
they should not be on the decline. No, it's not. It's not. It's doing worse. It's things are interesting. Interesting things are happening. They own Activision now. Well, almost. They still got to go through the
You
whole
know, the Series X could
British.
be just like the Wii U, and where it only has one limited edition console.
It's possible. Might be Halo. Yeah,
Hmm. I guess the PS5 is still in that same boat.
they got the faceplates. That's their way of
Yeah.
doing it.
Do they have what they have? Did they have like a LeBron James one?
They did. Yep.
It's
Pretty
so
cool,
weird.
actually. I like
Yeah,
it.
it was neat looking. I was just like, that's. I just was going on the Plates website when I was trying to find the Spider-Man ones,
Dude,
and I
that's the
saw that,
thing.
and I was like, that's interesting. I didn't
It's
even hear about that.
it's weird for us, but like 2K sells more than Spider-Man. It's like
Yeah.
there's such a bigger
Well, I
audience
mean,
that
there's also more platforms for people to buy 2K on.
it's true, but I'm saying like on PlayStation, 2K sells
Hmm.
more on PlayStation than Spider-Man does.
Yeah.
Anyways, this gnat's gonna fucking drive me crazy, so we're gonna end the show. Jake, thank you so much for joining me.
Hmm.
Hopefully, it's just terrible that plane crash with Ida and Roger.
Yeah.
That's Rachel's birthday, but
They hit the second tower.
they said, "Whoa." Thank you so much for joining me today. It's always appreciated. Hopefully, they can join us back next time. Audience, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Subscribe, like, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/slightlyamp. If you're listening on podcast services, same thing. Go check us out there if you want updates for the show, when it gets posted, things like that. Links to things, facebook.com/slightlyamp. Yeah, I think that's about it. Rate us on podcast services only if you're going to rate us 5 stars. Anything less, you're banished to the shadow realm. Not allowed. Share us with your friends and things like that. Am I missing anything else? Is that it, Jake? I'm just, we take such huge breaks. I don't remember.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think
Charles Martinet, no
rest in
Mario.
peace. God rest his soul. He didn't die. He's just
Mhm.
retired from voice
We are
acting.
all number one in his heart, he said.
He doesn't know you.
He knows all of us. He's
He
touched
doesn't.
all of our
He doesn't
hearts.
know me.
He
He
spoke
did.
to me directly.
He did
In
touch
my in
me.
my copy of Mario 64, he spoke to me directly.
Charles Martinet did touch me, but it was not my heart. It was. We don't talk about it. It was a spicy
He's going to
meatball.
be at literally every single convention ever from now
Yep.
on
There's nothing
until
else
he
to do.
dies.
Nope. We will. I will see Charles Martinet in the flesh for sure
Hmm.
because he is going to be one of those convention guys. And what's funny too, going back to how it's like it's crazy. It's like, oh yeah, 2K sells so much more than God of War. Most
Yeah,
people don't know Charles Martinet.
yeah.
Like the vast majority of people do not.
It's just sad. They know his voice. Well, not even his regular voice, but they know his. I think most people will recognize when it's not him doing Mario.
I don't think so. I think most people don't care. I honestly don't. I
Well,
think if
I
I
think it won't be something like that's not this guy. It'll be like he sounds different. Like
maybe
he's not his usual peppy Yahoo self.
Susan would
He's
be the
saying
good
wowie zowie now.
Susan would be a good litmus test for this. Have her
Yeah.
set up. I'll play 5 different audios. 2 will be Charles Martinet. 2 will be the new guy, but then 1 will be just a random third person. I'll be like, pick
Mhm.
out the
Yeah,
differences.
I'm surprised they didn't go for the whole like this is going to be the last game with Charles Martinet guys, and then, like try to go for that kind of marketing.
Again, because no one cares.
But
I
yeah,
think
but
no
no
one
one.
cares.
Mhm.
We care. No one else cares.
Even though they've probably been reusing most of his voice clips for the last 20 years, and he hasn't recorded a new line of dialogue except for like very specific
Honestly, as
instances.
far as voice actors go, this is like barely a step above the fucking Link voice
Mhm.
actor retiring. it's
Yeah.
like it's like let's be honest. Yeah, he's an iconic voice, but he doesn't.
He's not doing Wario in the new WarioWare either. Like nothing. He's
This
doing nothing after the Mario movie.
this script right here
Hmm.
for the gaming block might be bigger than every single line he's ever said in every game.
Yeah.
He doesn't say much at all. He walks in, grabs a cup of Joe, says 10 lines, walks out.
Mighty gonna go fishing.
All right. Thank you so much for listening or watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode. So long, Bowser.
Yahoo!